Sound is on, and we are live. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Friday. Welcome to Garblag Games. It's Friday. You got to get down on Sound Friday. Sound is on, and we are live. So, hi, welcome to Traveller, episode 2, RenSpace, where we are going to pick up from where we left off at the end of last week. Now, last week, our intrepid adventurers picked up their new ship and started casting about for some happy, fun little adventures that they might be interested in doing. Joining me this evening, wow, thanks, Onamichi. 1,000 bits in the box.
Yeah.
So, where are we? Oh, no, you've got a reroll already.
Chat has high faith in me.
Everybody's
I got one too.
They're all coming in.
Okay.
Okay, so joining me tonight, we've got Nye and Vero and Pat and Lee, who are playing their characters, and Nye is playing...
Pavlov. I didn't need to add my name just before we started because I'd forgotten it.
Kir Pavlov is a scientist from the Magnate Union of Sunka, which is a sort of technocratic organization, and he's a genius, right?
Yeah. Just, kind of a scatterbrained one that doesn't really like working.
And what did he discover last week?
He discovered iguana bunnies, and he was very happy with them, and that's all he needed to discover. He discovered them, and I think he picked up some mealworms for them, and I think he's been used as the name of being the owner of the ship, but that's Vero's character that is the actual person in charge. I don't know.
Not in charge. Vero bankrolled.
That's it.
So
right.
Vero, tell us about your character.
Yeah, I'm playing the Marquess of Picor.
And what did she do last week?
She proved that she doesn't know anything about real life or the value of money.
But who does know the value of money is Lee.
Hey, so hello. So I'm playing Persile Pavlova Hex. You can call her Percy for short, though. And she's also from Uthis, but a slightly different background. She's an entertainer turned agent. And now she's with this motley crew. And yeah, last week we had a bit of a run-in with some people who are definitely chasing their heads. And we are trying to evade the Nightfall Enterprises mercenaries as we duck through a polity that their patron is at war with, and trying to just pick up some missions, pick up a little something to do that'll give us a cover for heading progressively further away from the people we do not want to be near.
And that's right.
I was very naughty.
Was it that you left?
I was very naughty opening a box.
You did. You opened the box. Where was it that you left? It was Quawat's. No, it wasn't Quawat. Quawat was one of the ones you thought about.
We left the shipyard.
It was
we were at the shipyard.
It was the shipyard that you'd left because you just picked up your ship and you headed
for
the shipyard. Knaeus in the consensus of Atia.
We are in the spaceport of Quawat.
It was Quawat, yes, you made it to Quawat.
The spaceport.
The spaceport thereof. But you didn't go down because it's horrible there.
Yeah, and there was that archaeologist.
And there was the archaeologist
who
the Marquess was talking to and had arranged to transport to Knaeus. In the process of such arrangements, what else had been arranged? Pat, and who did it?
Okay, all right. So we arranged that we would get. We arranged for the archaeologist to join us at the very least on our way to the next sector over. It's not sector, system over, and we also arranged for the transport of a box by some shady dude who well, wants us to drop it off to his exact copy on the other system. And yeah, that was orchestrated by Veronique's character, the Mongoose, who deftly caroused with this implacable figure and managed to secure a very fruitful, hopefully, transport gig for us while we were on the run from Nightfall, who worked for the Empire that I'm trying to run from.
Okay, so starting then with the Marquess and Hawa, you guys were out on the station, weren't you?
So we were back in the ship, and I was calling the archaeologist to get his ass in the spaceship because we were leaving in an hour.
You were quite right. You had just commed the archaeologist. Did he give you his name?
I don't think so. I wouldn't have cared to ask.
I don't think he did.
Would there have been one on the listing?
Yes. His
We're
name is
no
Dr.
questions asked.
Atticus. And his assistant is called Stephen. So he's making his way to the ship to get on board, and unbeknownst to the rest of you, round the back of the fighter, on the sly, a certain agent spy had just used a mysterious ancient device in their possession to crack open the sealed box that you've been asked to transport to Kanaes. And so this big black box that's like 3 briefcases in thickness hisses open slightly for a click of the magnetic locks disengaging. And as it opens up, there are a set of stages inside. So they sort of open out to the side, and as it does, these stages open up in a little accordion style. And inside there are difficult to give an exact number, but dozens of small glass or perspex looking boxes, each of which is about 2 inches square, each of which contains some kind of gas and a couple of bits of a sort of bluish powder.
Do I
crystal.
recognize anything I'm seeing here?
This is totally unfamiliar to you. I mean, the gas could be like an inert storage medium.
All
You'd
right.
need a scientist to check it over.
And I have a scientist to check it over. I would like to attempt to close it as I opened it, or is my device not going to be cooperative in that endeavor?
Well, you can close it, yeah, quite easily. The magnetic locks don't re-engage, so you can just pop it open.
Wait, so the magnetic locks do not re-engage.
No, when you close the box, the magnetic locks don't re-engage.
So it would be quite clear to anybody that the box has been tampered with.
If you were to hand it to them in its current state, yes.
I like to imagine, Lee, you did like the technological equivalent of like cutting open a sealed letter, and you're now trying to get like the dry wax to go back on that. Like, it's not going on. No.
Shit.
Yeah.
Percy's gonna, think about this and determining that better to know what it is to make sure we're not, delivering a bomb, than to be sure that the tamper-proof seal is fixed just yet. I will take this to the lab. I'll ring up again, and I'm like, Hey, Doc. We just, could you look at something really quickly for me?
Gonna like pull the door. I like to imagine it's a sliding door, just back a little bit, peek his head out.
I like poke the briefcase through and then try and like shoulder my way into the room. Like, yeah, I just need to lay this down somewhere.
He's probably going to allow it because you've given him something, and he's like, he's gonna. Yeah.
Also, because he's about as strong as a stick of wet celery.
That is also the truth. He's not going to put up a fight.
I lay it down on the table, and I'm going to say, so
So inside the lab, you're quite interested to notice that there's a large sort of glass terrarium in which there are a number of these sort of rodent lizard hybrid creatures. One large one and 4 small ones.
I'm like, are those new?
No, they were always here.
Oh, they came with
I
the ship.
shrug and I'm like, well, I've never been in the lab. And I will
Exactly.
put down the briefcase and I'll say, we're being paid a smuggling amount of money to transfer the contents of this box. They are completely alien to me. I would like you to determine if they are dangerous in any way or anything else you can divine about them.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind. Thank you so much, dear doctor.
Open the box, and I'd like to science.
You would like to science. Do you have a particular kind of science that you'd like to use?
Depends. Well, my particular sciences work. Let's have a look. I have...
I mean, chemistry would be an obvious opener.
I don't have chemistry. I have physics, history, economics, and cybernetics. I don't have... Wait, why do I have history as a science? Never mind. Historical science. So I could just roll plain science and take a penalty on it, I assume.
You could roll physics.
Okay.
And roll physics at -1 rather than default science.
Yeah, no bother.
Because you're running it through a sort of mass spectrometer.
I was gonna say break up.
A 6 is what I got. So a failure, I
So
presume.
6 is not a success, but you've got a reroll that you could use.
Okay, I shall use it because this sounds important. If I used science as a base, would that be better, or is that just not going to work at all?
No, it'll work, but your
Okay.
science basic skill isn't as good as physics -1.
Is it not? Am I supposed to have a level in physics? Because I just have level 0.
Oh, okay. So yeah, your base that you'd have.
Am I...
You'd have all of them at level 0, so science would be at -1, so it'd be -2.
Okay.
If you were to just plain science it.
I still actually would do better. My science is a 3. So I'm getting 1 better. So I'll just roll science, but add the -2. A 10.
Oh shit!
Okay, running
you
it
for the
through the mass spec. These cubes are made out of transparent aluminium. It's not glass. So they're incredibly resilient, really durable. Looks like glass, almost as tough as metal. The gas inside is a noble gas. Looks like argon, based on the readings. But the crystals are giving off readings that you've never seen before.
Ah. Okay.
So your first glance at them, probably copper sulfate. Totally is not copper sulfate. There's some kind of silicate-based substance, but it's not one that you're familiar with. It doesn't show up on any reef reference tables that you've ever looked at, and it's not a substance that you've encountered before.
Okay. Well, I shall relay this information to Percy. Would I be correct in assuming that the argon was just a screen, like, to absorb any radiation or potential
Argon's
harmful...
used as like a holding thing to prevent any kind of reactivity. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just like move them aside, like disinterested, and be like, yes, this, I do not know what this is. I've never seen
There's
this before.
probably about 1 gram of powder in each of these 2-inch cubes.
How many were there?
A dozen, did you say?
No, there were dozens.
Oh, dozens. Okay.
Yeah.
And dear doctor, I'm assuming this doesn't present any obvious danger to us. They're not an explosive compound. We haven't been exposed to any pathogens.
Let me put it like this. It is not an obvious danger, but it's not an obvious not danger.
Oh, right.
Probably
well,
180 boxes, looking at the number of them.
Oh,
that
wow.
You've got 3 racks, each of which have got 3 by 10 squares.
I would mention this. We are supposed to deliver this unopened and untampered with, so I would be careful with any tests you run, but after you're satisfied, if you could try and find a way to re-engage the magnetic lock, that would be sorely appreciated.
I could certainly try. I tampered with electronic locks in university for no reason. So, yes.
I'm sure you did.
But what are you going to do with this sample that you've got out then?
I'll kind of look at Percy, look at Percy, and then have a thought to myself and shake my head, and think human testing would probably be inappropriate.
There's no ethics committees in space.
But nah, I don't think that. Like, you probably got told off too many times for that.
No ethics committees in space, yeah.
Yes. He'll pocket one of the samples, and then he'll start futzing around with the magnetic lock.
Okay.
Even though he was told not to leave anything unintact, but that's just
Yeah.
how it is.
So, do you do this like after I'm not looking, or you just do that shit straight in front of me?
I'll do it after you're not looking. He has enough sense to know that he
Alright,
shouldn't.
yeah.
But he's conniving enough to want to keep a sample.
I'll peace out from the lab, and I guess just wait. I'm expecting. We're expecting guests, right?
That's right. Yes.
Alright.
So, Vero and Pat, you guys are back on the ship.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be the welcoming committee for our friend.
Percy comes out of the lab into the landing bay where you're getting ready to greet this archaeologist as he comes on board. And he comes sort of tottering through. He's wearing shorts on a space station, but he's got a little mask over his face. His nose is sticking out over the top of it. He's quite dishevelled and disorganised. It's probably because he's got such a big white bushy moustache that his mask has slipped. And he's wearing little round glasses. No need for them, because you could have your eyes fixed very easily. So he's clearly wearing them as some kind of affectation, you think. And he's dressed like he's going on maybe a butterfly hunt. So like a vest with loads of pockets and a t-shirt.
Safari, yeah.
Yeah. Behind him, looking considerably more normal, is a young man with sort of bowl-cut hair down to here, wearing the clothes of someone from the Higanos administration. So he's got like a big greatcoat, and underneath that he's wearing like a long caftan. He does have a furry hat. Not a very big one, though. It's like a little Ushanka with furry ears that he's got tied up. And he's wearing his mask properly. He's carrying 2 boxes under each arm, 2 boxes in each hand, and an enormous rucksack that looms over his head. And if he leans forward too much, would probably knock him over.
Excellent.
Meanwhile, the professor himself is carrying a small sample case and a data pad.
All right.
And he comes pottering up the gangplank of the vindictive bitch. Hello? Hello?
I pop on my stewardess cap and I say hello and welcome aboard the vindictive bitch. Please, right this way. I'm assuming that, I got told to give them a nice room, or...
I told you to give them a stateroom to share.
Yeah. I'm like, come. We have your stateroom ready for the 2 of you.
Yeah, I can help with some luggage.
Oh,
Got it?
That's wonderful. How astounding.
The vindictive bitch. Travel with
Extraordinary.
class.
So he comes along the corridor with you, sort of rubbing his fingers along the walls and taking a deep breath near one of the atmospheric scrubbers. It's a lovely, clean ship and a stateroom. That's extravagant. Very grateful, thank you. My word, he says when you show him into the room, because it's actually quite a decent room. He'd be lucky to get a bunk in a shared dormitory in most ships for the price he's paying you, and you've shown him into a private bunk room. Even Bowlcut looks a little bit shocked at the room. Like, visibly sags as he drops the boxes. Careful with those. Careful with them.
I'm gonna look him up and down. So the other guy visibly sags when he sees the room.
Yeah, he sags in relaxation rather than sags as in I'm depressed at the crap state of this.
Yeah, I'm sad that they gave us a nice
More
room.
like,
All right.
thank God for that. I can finally put this shit down.
Yeah. And I'd be like, oh, please let me help you. The storage locker is right over here. And as I do this, I'm trying to get as many surreptitious glances as I can into what they're storing, but also, more importantly, I don't think the professor is really a threat. But is Bowl Cut? Are they strapped? Do they have a weapon of any sort?
He does have a weapon, yes. It is a stun pistol that he's wearing on his ankle, you think. Based on the bulge in his trousers there. Either that or he's got the weirdest, squarest goiter you've ever seen.
All right. I mean, I feel like we're kind of a no question asked vessel, so I'm not gonna like call that one out. And I'm just gonna help him stow the bag. And I'll be like, yes. So meals will be at this time and this time, according to the data pad. And if you have any need here, please reach out and contact me. And I'll leave you two to get settled in. And then I'll step out and message party members, archaeologist, and their stevedore are aboard.
Okay, Pat, Vero, either of you guys want to do anything?
So we're ready to leave?
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
I think we might be. Good to get the hell out of here. I don't like staying in one place for very long.
Now, if I remember rightly, Nye had already punched the calculations for astrogation into the computer.
I can do them again if you'd like.
I don't remember if you did them or not. I don't want to make you do it again
No,
if you've already done it.
no. I mean, I did them to get to where we are now.
Oh, okay, right.
I
That's what
don't
I'm thinking.
think-
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if it's like I punched them in for several, but I
I
don't
don't
think I would
see
have
it
done
in
that.
the roll history.
Yeah,
No.
that's
Okay, so we
I'm
need an
pretty small.
astrogation check so that you can program a route from Quawat to... Oh, not again. Hopefully the sound is still going. My computer has decided now is the time to do the
Well,
thing.
We seem to do video, Dad. Let me check the audio.
Yeah, the video will die because what'll happen is something's twitched OBS and caused it to...
The audio is still
always
going through.
just sounds good.
Well, I got a 12.
So sound is still good. I can fix OBS
Oh shit,
in
nice.
a few seconds. Just
Oh yeah, for the stuff
like
I'm good
that.
at, I'm good.
You are good. Oh my god.
Huh, that's weird. It's moved people's faces along. Window capture 5. It's sunk me and turned me into Pat. Oh.
Well, you know, that just kind of happens to people sometimes if they stay around me long enough.
Oh, I see what's
I
happened.
mean, look at
it's just
Look what I've already done to poor Lee.
There we go. Everybody's back in their own places again. And that can be relocked. And we'll transition back there. And we're all back. Hi, thanks for waiting. Right. Night, I believe you just astrogated.
Yep. And once he's done with that, he will go, like, literally, like, obviously, in the game, it'll be a bit of time, but for...
So you
he
are
has.
moving from Quawat. Oh, are people still mixed up? Oh, they are.
You and I alone remain in our proper boxes.
So,
I am Nye and Vero's me, and Nye is Vero. Musical chairs.
world's creepiest game of musical chairs.
Where we don't
Welcome to
move.
challenge.
Physically, I mean.
Vroom, as they say. Well, they don't, but they could if they wanted to. And now Nye's vanished off the side of the screen. There we go. There he is.
Hello.
Technical professionalism at its finest. There we go. Everybody's back in the right windows. Now, you
That's
had
right. Technically
just
cool.
left Quawat, which is in D7 on our map, which is the bottom of the pink section, if you can see it on the picture down there, and you were heading towards Kanaes. Kanaes is in F7, so you're going 2 steps to the Rimwood? Corewood? Spinwood?
Space East, right?
Yeah.
East.
Space East. Speast.
Beast, if you will.
Beast.
Speast. So you're headed to Kanaes, which
Lies.
is just between those two large capital planets in the light blue section that you can see there on our map. Kanaes is a luxury planet, nice atmosphere, ocean world with a nice warm temperature, participatory democracy, a very, very dull and uninteresting leader, but 356 million people living there. Lots of seafood on offer, nice holiday stuff. They like their luxury goods. They export fashion. They are one of the fashion centres of the entire sector. This is the place to go if you are a fashionista. It's like Space Milan.
I'll make sure to put on my best fineries before I step out. Just one thing to consider, law level is 10.
Yes, they do not like guns, knives, sharp sticks, armour.
Damn it.
And if I'm wearing a cloth that is otherwise indistinguishable from clothing, can I still rock that?
You can rock that, but if you get searched then and they start like poking around, they're going, this feels like ballistic cloth, then they might get a little bit shirty. The starport is an advanced one. It's one of the finest starports in the sector. It has a naval base, a research base, a traveller's aid society, and a high-tech outfitting and refueling station, which is something quite nice to see. But it's going to take you about a week to get there. So if you've got any training, you can stick an extra...
Is it 1 week per parsec?
Yes. And you're going
So
2
2
parsecs,
weeks?
so it's 2 weeks. So you've got 2 weeks worth of time in jump space that you can put onto your training regime for whatever you were hoping to improve. And while you're in that 2 weeks, going through jump space, what do you want to do? You've got time.
I would... Sorry.
Pat.
Well, I wasn't even going to speak.
I would like to science the weird stuff.
Really? No, you don't say. All right.
Well, first I'll do the magnetic lock first, and then people can do their own stuff because I'm happy doing that.
Okay. Well, make a physics check for the maglock then.
Okie doke. No penalty or anything.
Nope, no penalty.
Okay. It's probably not gonna be good though. Oh, a 9. There we go. Not the worst.
Okay, so there is no maglock. That's the problem. There's no magnetism here. This should be an inductive electromagnet, really, really simple thing for you to reactivate just by putting charge through it. You hook it up to all kinds of machines and wires and stuff. There is no trace of any magnetism being induced within the maglock. It's like it's lost the ability to be magnetic.
Okay. I would like to. My second thing would be, can I lock this thing in a fashion that creates the illusion of a maglock? Can I?
Oh God!
Can I trick whoever is
Why
going
don't
to
you
be?
guys use the alien thing, but flip it over?
Yeah, I mean, if you, because I guess I don't know if I've shown the good doctor my alien thingy.
Oh,
Or
you'd
explained
never
how
get
I
it
opened
back. Oh, he would take that.
Yeah, but do you reveal, like, I mean, I mean, Priscilla is not trying to like hold out here. So if you let me know, like, you're having trouble with it, I could come by.
Well, is that possible, Ben, what I've just said? Is there a way I could fool someone into thinking it had been locked in the initial fashion?
No, because the initial
No.
faction requires that sort of sense of magnetism. So
okay.
you need something that would hold it closed, but would also release when they activated the maglock. So
Right,
you'd
okay.
either need to work on
Yeah.
some kind of electrostatic charge.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Some kind of my own magnetic lock on top of the existing
Or
one.
sticking a new magnet in, maybe.
Yeah, that's my other theory. Just get a fucking huge magnet. I
Those
guess
big
I'll
U magnets, like
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote uses.
see. I don't know.
Tape
with
it to the outside.
Yeah, I think after because that sounds like a lot of work, he'd probably just hand it back to you and go, no.
Oh,
that's
chat are
magnetic."
correcting us and saying it is 1 week per jump. So regardless of distance, because you've got a 2-jump
Yes.
ship, you can do a jump of 2 in 1 week. So it is 1 week of training and practice.
There's a fun trick you can pull where you make someone think that you've left by jumping to the precise spot you're in, because you're going to drop out a week later anyway.
Time
I'm
for
going
us.
to give Percy the box and say, I cannot fix this. There is no trace of magnetism.
Do you
let's
still have the little
see.
cube?
I'm gonna whip out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna whip out my. Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't think to ask, so before you mention that, so I don't. I just whip out my alien thing and I try and apply it to the lock.
So Persilius breaks out this little device, statue, bathroom tile thing. It's like a little square of some kind of super dense material, and starts waving it around near the box. It's got like a sphere in the center of it, so it's like a silvery grey box with a small sphere embedded in the middle of it that's kind of a bluish colour.
What is that? Eyes like,
I'm like, oh, a little of this, a little of that. Is it?
look at it.
Thanks, Pat.
And I kind of look at the doctor and I look at the animals and I'm like, so when did you get those? I don't remember them bringing anything aboard.
I want that. I want it.
and I'm like, I'm sure you do, but and I'm trying to. If I hold it up in the same way I held it up before, does it do anything?
On the same box?
Yeah.
No, it does not.
I try and rotate it in my hand or something and squeeze it. Am I getting anything?
When you squeeze it, yes, it does seem to have some kind of effect. The handle of the box
Oh God.
starts to demolecularize.
And I'm gonna hand it to the doctor and say, Doctor, I think this is your department.
Yeah, it looks like Nye, make a physics roll.
I'm loving this. Also, physics is not as good as my base science, but I love it.
Well, it should be your base science +1, shouldn't it?
I don't know. It just
It
says
seems
level
weird that
0.
you've got science at 3 but physics at 0.
Well, the total is 3. The science level is only level 1.
Okay.
I'm just really bright, so that's why it's so high.
Well, if science is better, you can make a science roll. Just
Okay.
seems odd that your physics
No,
is
it's
lower.
just it's intellect that's so high or education that's
that's why my
very
science
bonus.
is crazy good, but not the actual skills themselves.
Right.
I don't mind. If you prefer physics,
I
'cause
think physics does
it's
work
more
better
attuned.
because it
Yeah,
is a
that's
physics
totally fine.
thing.
Yeah, of course. Oh well, I got an 11. I think I already rolled and got an 8, but I got an 11. So pick whatever one. You
Okay, well,
prefer.
it would appear that this thing is capable of affecting fundamental forces. If it was able to demagnetize a ferrous metal, once it's put under pressure, it appears to also be affecting the weak force holding the atoms together in the handle of the box. The handle of the box is kind of slightly dissolved, but there's no
'cause
sign of where those particles have gone.
because the bonds that have
They've literally
kept the
atomized.
atoms together. Yeah, okay. Percy, where did you get that?
Now, I'm not necessarily going to tell the doctor, but where did I get that, or is that something to be established later?
That was it was an item that you got in one of your history rolls, wasn't it, when you were building your character? Yes, you had a life event that ended up with you getting a piece of alien tech. We never really gave all the details of that mysterious life event, so you could tell the doctor now the exciting tale of your life event.
Yeah, I think I'm going to save that for next time, and I'm going to say, all right, so I was meaning to let everyone know that we'd had a look in the box once we'd fixed things with the box.
The doctor is not staring at. He's staring right at the device and is just like, uh-huh.
I'm like, listen, if that box isn't fixed, we're going to have a lot of problems with some people we probably don't want to have any problems with.
What? Oh, sorry. Yes. The box, yes.
I hide the device behind my back, And I see. How did you? Are you like trying to look behind me?
No. Once it's out of sight, like he's seen you. You could break him in half like a Twix. Like there's nothing he can do if he wanted to take it off you.
I point, and I'm like, what can you do to fix this?
Oh, the box. Oh, it's completely fucked. Yes, your magic toy has. You basically have a cheat sheet to the universe. It can break fundamental forces and make it its bitch. So there's not very much I can do.
And I'm like, and you can't manufacture a counterfeit and replace the top of the box?
I could, but think of it this way: if you locked your house and then someone broke the lock and I came in and replaced the lock, the key that you had to come back to your house with wouldn't work for the new lock that I made.
So you can't make an exact replica of it?
I could. Is it just a magnetic lock, Ben, or is it like an actual key thing?
It looks to be just a magnetic lock. So you've got some kind of magnetic lock that has some kind of way of unlocking it. You reckon it's probably fingerprint based on your previous assessment.
Like, all right,
so you could just make an entirely new box.
Yep, I can do that.
Listen, I need to go handle our guests, but we should let everybody know what we're doing here in case they have any insights and in case things have to get complicated with our little exchange. I'm going to, let them know. What can we tell them about what's in that box? Is it dangerous? What are we involved in?
Well, it's not dangerous, but it's also not dangerous because I don't know what it does. It is in a flux of dangerousity.
Okay, so now the box is slightly open all the time. You can see that the little boxes inside, these little crystal grains inside them are sort of sticking to the sides of boxes near where the other boxes are. So these boxes are in 3 racks down each side of the case. When you open the case, those come out as these little racks, but each row is like 3 across and 10 along. And what you can see is that these sort of crystal grains are congregating in little groups of 4 as the grains move towards the greatest concentration of other grains.
Okay. Well, if you want to tell him, that's fine. I will get pottering about with the lock, and and he's just gonna like close it and toodle off into the lab again and start futzing with it.
All right, I'm gonna let everyone know, hey, you might want to swing by the lab. The doctor has some things to share about our cargo.
Oh, me, Awa, the archaeologists, everyone, like just the comms.
No, okay. So so do we have like personal ways message each other using that sort of a thing?
Yeah, you could just message each other. I mean, we're talking tech level beyond our own, and we can do that now. So you can absolutely message each other on your personal data devices.
This is just the crew. Yeah, I'm not inviting the passengers. If anything, I would go check it on the passengers and make sure they're not snooping around.
The professor, the archaeologist, Dr. Atticus, he seems quite keen to sit and go through books. Sometimes he'll do it in his room. Sometimes he'll go and do it in the lounge that you have on the ship, but not in the evening when it gets too loud. Because of Hawa and her karaoke.
Excellent.
So he's sort of reading and writing in these little old-fashioned journals and has his device nearby for reference and stuff as well. Stephen has made use of the fact that he's not being asked to do very much to go for a run and make use of your facilities.
Yeah, he's more than welcome to.
He's eating like he's not had a great deal of food recently and is kind of trying to make up for it.
I'm gonna try and drink him under the table.
It does not take you very long. You know that whole, I think it's starting to affect me. I can feel something in my fingertips. He's there. He might be a graduate student, but he's a total lightweight.
Yeah, we're gonna grab him by the collar and make him sing a Bohemian Rhapsody on the karaoke.
Anything else you want to do during this week while you travel? Persilius tells you that the doctor has something to show you in the lab.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I
go
guess.
I will put
I mean,
the.
not that I care because the transaction was done under the professor's names.
I will have put the little box that I filched back in when they all come in, but I do plan to take the same box back and put it in my pocket when they leave, just so it looks symmetrical.
So the lab is probably, after the bar, the next most lived-in looking room in the ship, because the doctor's hardly left this place since he got here. There are machines set up and running that were undercovers before. Things have been repurposed from drug lab into forensics style lab machinery.
Now, I'm gonna look around to see if there are any drugs left.
I have one of those things that goes bzz, 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 you know, like a big ball of electricity, because every lab has to have one, of
Naturally.
course. Yeah.
Do you want to make an investigation check then, Vero? See if you can find any
Yes.
drugs.
I mean, if you want drugs, I could just make some.
Well, that
Plus
too.
2.
Oh, nice.
Okay. No, this place has been very thoroughly cleaned of drugs. Even the hiding places that you identify that would be great places to store your drugs are empty. However, during your investigation, you become very aware of the fact that somehow, at some point in the last week, the doctor has come by an enormous glass terrarium full of lizard rabbit things.
Hey, can I get one like to carry in a little bag with me?
Yes, of course. They should be close to being weaned from their mother. So yes, that's quite possible.
What do they taste like?
I'm gonna take the runt of the litter, like the tiniest one,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna call it macaroon.
Aww. I'm
And I'm gonna put it in my handbag. Like
I'm
the
going
head
to now.
peeping out.
I'm going to keep very stern eyes though on the person that just said, "What do they taste like?" Just a very slow turn, and then pulling the terrarium slightly closer to
I'm
one's
gonna
body.
like feed it the olive from my bloody Caesar in
Aww.
my bag.
I'm very glad that I've given the marquee. Yes, I'm quite happy. Yes, so you have all been gathered here. Here is the box.
Yeah, the box,
Yeah.
the sealed box that you picked up, he just opens it.
Yep.
It looks like the
What the
handle's
fuck?
been like blasted or evaporated or something. The lock isn't functioning. And he just opens the whole box.
Ta-da!
Done.
Starts
Here,
rooting around.
you better fix it because you know the transaction was done under your name.
Oh, I can fix it. It's not an issue. This will take like a day at most. Magnet locks are easy to do.
So what you see when you open the box, when he opens the box, is that there are 3 racks on either side of the box, each of which contains 30 small cubes about 2 inches across. Same inert gas, same little blue crystals. By the time you guys are shown what's going on, these little crystals are forming little fractal patterns on each tray. So they're arranging themselves into these little iterative patterns through the glass. So the glass acts as a barrier, but each individual box is forming part of a pattern that when looked at together forms a larger pattern. If you pull a box out, the pattern
that's
shifts to
new.
accommodate. Slowly, it's not like it suddenly snaps into a new configuration, but over a period of about 3 or 4 minutes, if you remove one of the boxes, the pattern of the crystals in the other boxes shuffles around.
Okay, so it's the world's most boring lava lamp. Got it. I'm gonna try and like, who's a good macaroon? Ooh, that's a good macaroon.
Yes. So, and then he'll start going into ridiculously detail about the clear aluminium and the little fractal patterns and stuff. Complete like just science mumbo jumbo.
Honey,
Yes,
it's great
yes.
that you're brilliant and all, right? But I
Uh-huh,
don't want
yes.
to know what these are. We were not supposed to find out what these were. We were not supposed to open the box and see them.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad that we found out it's not like a bomb or something we're carrying and we're going to be engaged in some sort of terrorist attack or something. But shit, I don't know what these boxes are. We broke the goddamn crate.
The upside is neither do I. I have no idea what this material's function is. For all we know, it could be a bomb that can destroy a planet, or it could just be somebody's lunch. I have no idea.
All the more reason to get it off our hands.
Okay, well, I can fix the magnetic lock, no problem. The handle will be a little bit difficult because if I could reatomize things, I would certainly not be here. I would be a god somewhere. But I think I could perhaps fabricate a close similarity. Is that within my 3D printing's got to be within my grasp as a
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be easier to just make a whole new bag.
How did this happen?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best part. I wish I knew, because Percy has a magic doodad which can break fundamental forces, and I'm very eager to look at it.
Holy shit, I'm never leaving you two alone again!
Now, that's quite the exaggeration.
Oof, honey. If you got a box that can break shit down on a fundamental level like that, then keep the hell away from me. And maybe, tell people when you're going to use it next time.
I didn't know it was going to happen. Never done this before.
That's what they all say. Fine. I'll just fix it. This is way above my pay grade.
Okay. I'm quite eager to get my hands on that thing, but I recognize it's Percy's, so I shall not take it. And then you'll say very quietly, but loud enough, yet.
Let me know when those are ready for slaughtering. I make a mean lizard stew.
I'm going to ignore that question, and you're not allowed in the lab anymore. Bye-bye. He's going to push, but he's going to do that like weak thing where he's standing in place, his legs are going, but you're going nowhere kind of thing. Like, please, may you leave the lab? Please.
I knock on the door as I walk out.
All right, so anything else you want to cover during jump space? No, you want to print a new box.
Basically, yeah, it might be quicker just to
Do you have any engineering skill?
I have no, I don't. I have electronics, but I just realized that's not the same thing. Darn. No, I don't actually. Oh, that's not going to be great. What's engineering?
Does anybody have an engineering skill?
Oh, well, unskilled is... Oh, no, unskilled is...
There you go, Pat's got a level of engineering.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, then you can help out.
Well, what is it used with it? Education, I think?
Or
it's
intellect?
education or intellect, yeah.
Let's go with education. So I guess I can help you, but I, of course, make snarky comments the whole time.
Well, I mean, this is literally just using the machinery. So, like, the professor doesn't even need to be there if you're just fabricating the box. So,
Right.
Yeah, you're just making a replacement box for the one that they broke.
Education. All right. I hope this works. Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
that's
wow.
pretty good.
Yeah, amazingly. Yeah. Made a better box than they did.
So you make a new box to put these things in. You've got the design pretty much down, you think. You've seen it enough times. It's kind of burned into your memory because they shouldn't have opened it in the first place. Nye, do you want to do any other tests on the box?
Yeah, okay. I'll have a little poke and prod at the bits and pieces just to see what I can get out of it.
Okay. Do you want to give me any detail on what sort of tests you want to do?
Nye has a theory. I would like to see if this is a type of technology of a nano variety. So I don't know what test that would be. Perhaps I'm checking for electrical activity or some kind of...
If you're checking for electrical
metallicness.
activity, you can go for it. If you want to run it through a microscope and see what you can see, you can go for it.
Yeah, I'll probably go for the microscope. That sounds very sciencey.
All right, science away.
Science away.
Said no one ever.
That's a 13 for science in a way.
Ouch.
Holy shit.
All right, so you pull this thing under the microscope and you start looking at it. By itself, it appears to have a very, very weak electrostatic attraction. between each of the crystal grains. On a little bit of a supposition trial out there kind of theoretical science idea, you get some more boxes and you put them under them together. And there is an increase in the electrostatic activity, which would go some way towards explaining the fractalization. It appears that the more of these little crystals you are able to get interacting with one another, the greater degree of complexity they're able to show in their structure. And that's just with 2 to 4 of them.
Yes.
You can pull out like Fibonacci spirals and fractal design.
I really want to take these, but I imagine they'll be upset with me if I take them, so I might just take one.
There is 180 of them. I mean, what are they going to do? Count all of them?
I'll slide 2 out, so it's an even number. Just there we go. Pockets in either side. Just, maybe put him where the hide. Actually, I think he might put him one of the hidey holes. Are
you going to take them out of the transparent aluminium at any point to look at them closer?
Not right now, no, because he needs to get away with it first. If he doesn't get away with it, then there's no point. You'd have to give them up.
So you spend a fairly solid week of sciencing and training and doing your stuff. Pharaoh, anything else you want to cover?
I will be looking at what's the latest fashion of Kanaes, and I'm gonna make sure that I cover macaroon in fineries that could feed a family of 4 for a month. So, like a bow made of like the most precious fabric and little diamonds and what have you. Yeah.
On Kanaes at the minute, the fashion is military Gothic. So it's like these arch uniform styles, very much like totalitarian regime spectaculars, but all in black with oversized collars and lots of sort of silver decoration.
Do I have anything in my 12 suitcase that could be fashionable of Kanaes right now?
You've probably got something that will make do. You won't be regarded as the pinnacle of fashion because it's not 5 minutes old, but you'll be able to blend in.
Want to blend in?
Blending in at Milan Fashion Week.
It's been 2 weeks. I haven't seen anyone of importance. I'm getting antsy.
While you're...
That hurts.
Wait, did you have one of the bunks on the bottom floor or the top floor?
I had the finest room.
You had the best one. That's up on the top floor. Nye and Pat, then I think you had rooms on the bottom floor, didn't you? Because Nye had one nearest the lab.
I think I sleep in my ship sometimes.
Bed's too soft.
There's just beer bottles at the base of her leather chair that lines the inside of her fighter. It's really cramped, but
every
she
so
likes
often
it.
in the middle of the night, the professor goes
Familiar.
back to the lab and crosses and just hears muffled, "I wanna be all by myself." Like in the fire, like I'm not.
Yeah.
She's fine.
She's fine.
She's fine.
All right, what I will do is I will ask everybody. We'll see if anybody hears, notices, detects.
That cannot be
Oh
good.
god.
Oh, that's bad.
Where would the person being the steward normally sleep?
Well, if any of the rooms is good enough, it's not like you have to sleep outside someone's door curled up.
Yeah, then I would say probably one of the nice rooms.
Yeah, but you've probably got intercom access so that people can get in touch with you if they need to.
Yeah. The professor is just really rude. That's why he just blares out everything he wants to say on the intercom rather than privately use the...
I think, Lee, it might be you because there's not really an appropriate role for it. So your intercom buzzes in the middle of the night before you're supposed to pop out in Kanaes space. And the professor's voice comes over the intercom. Stephen, I need you.
That's really strange. I'm gonna slide out of bed and go looking for the hallway. Like, I'm listening in. Do I hear Steven respond on this channel?
Stephen does not respond on that channel because that's the intercom to your room.
Why is he calling my? All right, I would respond and say, "What's the matter?"
Oh, so sorry, you're not Stephen. Is this not the ship's intercom?
And I'm like, "Please let me come show you how it works." One moment, and I'm gonna fucking like get over to that room right now.
Okay, so you go into his room. He's working by lamplight on his desk. He's got papers spread out everywhere. Sketches and notes and weird glyphic languages written down. I'm so sorry to bother you. I've made rather an important breakthrough and I wanted to let Stephen know, but he's not in his bunk, so I thought I would hit the intercom and call him.
Like, I see. And does it seem like he's telling, like, because he said he needed Steven, but now he's like, I just wanted to share a cool breakthrough with him. Does that seem like any discord? Does he seem like he's maybe like a ha ha ha, nothing going on
No,
here?
he seems really excited about something. He's clearly full of himself. This is the face of a man who's A, shit at poker, and B, has just discovered something that he thinks is cool and interesting.
Okay. Then I would be like, well, actually, you see, the intercom works in this fashion. So if you hit this, you'll be able to. But you could also just dial him directly, etc., etc. And yeah, I mean, I'm more or less going to give him the 411 on how to not call me in the middle of the night.
Okay, while you're doing that, do you want to make an investigation roll?
Yeah, I'd be taking this in, especially if he's got any of his stuff out, and it seems like, interesting information. There's investigate. And 11.
Nice. So it looks like he's been assembling diagrams together from multiple sources. And he's got a picture of what looks like a kind of spiky, armored angel of some kind, humanoid in shape, 2 legs, 2 arms, head, massive set of wings on it, but it looks like a suit of armor rather than a living thing.
He has like a diagram of it?
Yeah, he's got a diagram of this thing, and then spread around it, because you've got an 11, which is pretty good, you can see that there are some separate, similar-looking diagrams of component pieces. So there's a diagram that looks like a headless statue. There's a diagram that looks like this sort of weird dinosaur head thing. And there's another one that looks like a kind of plane or jet that if you flipped it around and turned it upside down could maybe take the shape of the wings on this angel thing.
Do I know of more than one winged sapient species in this?
You know of none. There are no winged sapient species other than the Koinu, and they're insect wings.
Oh, so they're not insectoid wings. That's what I was
these
thinking.
are not insectoid at all. This looks much more like feathered, or not feathered, but steel wings. Like these wings were made out of exhaust pipes from a motorbike kind of thing.
I would look at them and I'd say, oh my, what's that?
My life's work. I think I know what it is now. See, I've been researching. One of the things that fascinates me is the idea that there are these shared stories from our human heritage that still exist. We've lost our history. Our history is gone. The Ren destroyed it, and yet, there are these images and ideas and concepts that's deep within our minds that still brew forth to the surface. And I found one. This creature suggests that humankind have been here before, or that something from here has been to wherever we come from. This winged shape is deep in the collective unconscious of mankind.
And I'm looking at him and like, do I know that psychics exist, or is this just sound like absolutely crazy?
I think you would know that they do. There are rumours, people talk, and most people think it's kind of a hoax. But there are some organisations that look into it
I'm
that
assuming
you
I
are
wasn't,
aware of. So
I wasn't in that branch, but like I would have known people who like had a job that was like looking into that sort of a thing.
there are people that come and take them away, usually, either from the government or from other places. So you've got a couple of religious or pseudo-religious organisations. You've got research organisations that have a lot of intergovernmental power, and you have sort of other research-based people, and the governments themselves try and research psychics as well.
Well, I mean, I think my initial response here is very polite yet skeptical, and I'm like, that's fascinating. So, your research is based on, you're an archaeologist, yes? So, or have you found historical examples of this image, and that's what
Historical
you think they're all
examples,
referencing?
no. Collective unconscious. But I have discovered in some of the works of some of the alien species, most notably the wren, but also some Tusi stories do occasionally make reference to similar looking creatures to this. So you see here, this is a Samtusi text. And he shows you a scroll written in these weird pictoglyphs that look like they're written in metal writing. This is a Wren knowledge crystal, and he rotates it, and a set of writing appears, floating like matrix letters through the ether. And both of these make reference. Now, these other creatures, they believe that there was a sort of precursor species that existed in this space before they did. And I have reason to believe that this may be a part and parcel of that. This is my research, and I have a lead. This is why I was hoping to find a ship into the barrier, because I think this being, this entity, could very well be buried out there.
Do you think that whatever you're after, this collective unconscious individual item that you've seen referenced to in other texts, would have survived the destruction of all the stars along the barrier?
Yes, because this thing is found in the records of the ancient Wren. It's found in old Samtusi religious texts, and is found in human memory of the time before we came to this place.
Which
There's no
is based
reason to
on
connect those things.
collective unconscious evidence, what sort of form does that usually take?
Dreams, myths, stories, legends.
I see. So you've collated accounts of people coming up with a similar idea.
Well, you don't need to make it sound quite so cheap. Yes, I've consulted with counsellors, therapists, psychics, but also storytellers, historians. And the correlation with other species is the thing that really has me looking.
Fair enough, but why this particular location?
Well, if you see here, and he pulls out another text, and he starts pointing it out. Now, this particular phrase here, if it's interpreted in this way, it's implicative of an existence within a known part of space. Now, cross-referencing this against these documentations, and he's pulling other documents out, and he opens up a book, and he's looking at star charts that the stars don't look like anymore, and little diagrams that he's drawn in the leaves of his notebook. He says, so he pulls all this evidence together, and it's total gobbledygook to you. I believe that at the very least a fragment of this creature, or evidence of its existence, lies at the location I seek to dig.
I see. And how do you intend to engage in a dig without a sun over your head?
He expansively waves his arms towards the boxes of kit that he's got.
So you plan to do this as if though you are an exoplanet?
Yes. I have enough equipment to set up a microdome. And from there, we'll dig down.
How many months of supply do you have? And have you made any arrangement to be extracted once you have gained what you're looking for?
Yes. Extraction. Of course.
I have a
Bugger.
question. Would Kier have been told that this guy's getting on the ship? Like, would he have heard it? Because I don't think he's talked to this
Well, you'll
guy.
have seen
I'm
him
just curious.
around at meal times and stuff.
Like, on the scientistometer, is he like, if Albert Einstein is on one end and Nye Elder is on the other end, how famous is this guy's face?
Not really very.
Okay, that's fine. Because I'm just thinking, like, he is either like super fringe or he's like
He is
guy.
super fringe.
Okay,
Yeah, no, he is
fine.
super fringe.
Kerr would have no interest in him. Okay,
And
that's fine.
he does try and talk to Kier because he sees him as like an intellectual equal. But you're talking about these wildly separate fields. He's talking about ethnoarchaeology and transhistorical documentation, and you're talking big shiny thing in space go boom.
Well, yeah, like I imagine that he would have had a passing interest at one point because he's that kind of like
Yeah,
scientist,
you understand
like,
each other's language.
Yeah, but you're just like, I was at a nappies when I stopped being interested in that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a paleontologist talking to an astrophysicist.
Probably, like, if he doesn't, I would look around and be like, and Steven's been out of his bunk for a while, right?
Yes.
Does he not normally sleep at this time?
Normally, yes. He normally
Is he in my
around.
bunk?
Do you want him to be in your bunk?
We don't have an appearance score, do we?
I mean, he's something to do.
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would have bothered to look for him if, like, I thought that there was anything sus going on. But if I know that he's hooking up with the Marquess, then I would probably just be like, I see. I'm sure he'll be by. We've got all the information. I mean, I think I've got all the information he's about to share, right?
Yeah.
All right. I probably assumed this man is like totally off his rocker, and I'm like, well, do use the intercom if you need me again, as I have shown you how to dial rooms. And in the meantime, if you have any personal communicators that would allow you to speak directly to your compatriot, I would recommend that. And I'm gonna, bounce to go get some sleep. And
Thank
in
you.
the morning,
Thanks so much for your help.
Yeah. In the morning, I will share, like, I think that guy is bonkers. He's intending to go to an exoplanet on the basis of something that he says is from the collective human unconscious and alien history.
Did you say to Kier or just
Pat,
in
you're on
general
mute.
to all of us?
Sorry, I thought you were saying something.
I would say it to, I'd say the crew members, like at some meal. Yeah, Pat, you're mute. I cannot hear you. No.
Wouldn't be
wait.
the only bonkers person on this ship.
Amazing.
So Pat's fabricated you a new box. No.
That I have, and
Yes.
I've
Yay!
taken my time. Like there was a whole like Jesse Pinkman envisioning himself as Jesus moment where I was just kind of like sanding the box by hand and washing off all traces of my fingerprints on it, et cetera, et cetera. And I hand it over, and I'm like, yeah, don't break this one, please.
He'll give you a big thumbs up, and then he'll start moving the things in kind of like haphazardly, like he's careful, but in a kind of not careful way. But he is going to pocket two of the
Could you make an
crystals.
athletics roll?
What, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh God, no. All right.
no.
Yeah,
What do
no,
you-
that's not.
Oh no.
I have a -4 in athletics.
Am I still in the room?
Wait, is this because I said I'm not being careful? Oh no. Okay,
Yeah,
fuck
loading
it.
it haphazardly.
Well, that's a 6. I mean, it's the best. It's yeah.
You
I
fool.
fail. Yeah.
So
but-
have
you're
another
you're
reroll.
shifting the boxes across.
I do.
Pat, you watch him
Oh.
start shifting the boxes across, and he's trying to. He starts to get a bit cocky and picks up 5 at once, and
Yeah.
the
No.
one in the
As you
middle just slides out, and you watch it slide in slow motion as it drops out of the middle of the other 4, and he kind of collapses the other 4 together as that one hits the ground point first and cracks. And there's this little puff of brown gas that comes out of it.
Am I close enough to the door to pop out and shut it?
Yes, you want to shut him in.
That I do. That I do. Do I have to make an athletics?
Yes.
the good doctor is gonna put them in and then not feign because like he wasn't intending
That's
this,
3.
but do the oh no, I'm now stuck in here with the thing I wanted to experiment with, the shock. But this was not intentional.
I press on the intercom thing and I say, "You're quarantined, friend."
Okay.
And I message immediately the Marquis. We have to shut the lab down from all air circulation in the ship. Quarantine procedures, please.
Wait, you can suffocate
You're
me?
calling the Marquess to let her know that?
I assume you're the closest person to the console right now. I mean, like, I can't do that from the door, I don't think.
I'll ask Steve to go do it.
So he kind of rolls over, grunts slightly, gets out of your bed and pulls on a tiny little pink satin robe and just starts jamming buttons. What? Quarantine lab?
I should have called
What menu? He presses a bunch of buttons.
I'm not aware of that. I'm still in my bunk.
I'm actually excited now. I get to play with the weird new material.
Hey, Percy, I don't know if anybody, if I don't know if the Marquess got to you, but we may want to shut the lab down, quarantine it. I mean,
What does it do when it's out the box?
Initially, it's just a little tiny pile of like blue crystals, but as you watch them, they're kind of creeping out of the box. They didn't all fall out of the box. The box is just cracked.
Mm-hmm.
But the crystals kind of break into smaller crystals,
Okay.
and then the small crystals drop through the gap, but they remain in electrostatic contact with crystals on the other side, and then very, very slowly, the first few grains come out incredibly slowly, but it starts to get faster, and it's like watching an hourglass go in reverse as you watch these little grains all pour their way out onto the floor.
Okay. And if I hold one of the boxes above them, do they shoot up to?
They
to
do.
be
They
attached
rise
to
up
them?
in over a course of about a minute. They start to
Yeah,
rise up
okay.
in a little tower heading towards the box, and the
Well-
box, the grains in the box, flatten out along the bottom of the box.
Well, I did want to take 2, so I think this solves that problem rather tidily. These will go in a little Tupperware, and they'll go in the hidey hole, and I shall close up the box. I will neatly put it in front of the locked door, and I will sit down and wait. I'll busy myself with something else, but like for gameplay purposes, I'm not doing anything important.
All right, so the jump drive disengages, and you pop out in Kanaes space. It's still a day away by subluminal flight.
I was just wondering, because I tried to get as much information out of Steve as I can, but camouflaging it as pillow talk.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to make a carouse roll, and we'll see how much you get out of him?
Just two.
So what sort of things are you going for? What do you want to know?
Well, we're gonna start general, and we're gonna start like drilling down to whatever seems interesting or weird or.
Okay, well, he's a graduate student, and he's working for the professor because the professor asked him, based on his earlier master's thesis, because he's an ethnoarchaeologist, but he's a human ethnoarchaeologist. So he deals with the limited 1,000 or so years of human history, but also into the mythic stuff that seems to have carried over from beyond that. So he's a myth nerd more than anything else. And he says the doctor's particularly interested in him because he knows about these old icons that appear in people's minds, like these ideas and tropes that they don't really have names for, or they have like very, very limited names for them. So that they have like this idea of gods and this idea of monsters and these things they call angels, which are like people with wings. And it turns out he knows quite a lot about these angels.
It's someone to do.
Yeah. When you get him on his thesis subject, he gets a little bit into it, and he starts talking about this human concept of angels that are these protectors and guardians of humanity, and that they come from beyond the stars, and that they raised up mankind, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and that the doctor thinks that they might actually be a real sapient species from this sector of space.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I'm not even in bed anymore. I'm brushing my hair, feeding macaroon. Like, yeah, go on.
Cleaning up tiny little macaroon pellets. But yeah, he's quite dull.
Yes. Jesus, I can't wait to get to Kanaes because I get somebody better to do.
At least it wasn't the crew.
No, you don't shit where you hate, but you know.
Yeah, makes sense.
Jesus, I'm gonna make sure we get more interesting passengers next time.
All right, so Kanaes Space, Lee, you're on comms. So laser comms, start pinging backwards and forwards, friend or foe identification.
We're sending them all of the quote unquote very true credentials that will stand up. You know, this is the doctor's research vessel. We are, here, traveling through, etc., etc.
Yeah, no problem. They give you clearance to come in. They don't seem to be all that fussed. To be fair, they do have a fleet of warships, so they're not going to be that worried. These Attian warships are there. And actually, Pat, that's quite interesting for you. Attian warships are kind of funky. They don't adopt the sort of Yunnan model. A Yunnan model warship is basically a big dark grey rectangle in space with pointy bits sticking out of it. Very much a sort of Sulaco model of spaceship. Whereas the Attian ships, they've got a bit of design behind them. These things have got buttresses and archways. And the ones around here seem to be designed like space cathedrals.
Are they functional?
They're fully functional, yeah. But they've also got form as well.
The buttress aspects are interesting. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I think my character spends a little time looking at that and just kind of nerding out. She's like, I haven't seen very many of these outside of the, the before times.
So thankfully, we've given them no reason to give us any trouble, and hopefully things stay that way.
You start getting a secondary feed coming through on what's called the Attian diplomatic channel, And at this stage, of this kind of remove, they're not letting you vote yet because there's still a sort of 8-hour turnaround. But you're getting steady input about what people are voting on any given day. There seems to be about 6 or 7 elections per day on World. These individual referenda that everybody stops and votes on for what sort of policy is going to be adopted by the government on that day or on one particular issue. And you're getting these huge numbers coming back on these referendum. They're all sort of approaching 400 million votes, one way or another. It's like everybody is genuinely a participant in this process.
How do people have the bandwidth to care about all this shit?
What are they voting on like right now? Like what's one of the generic votes that seems to be happening?
I have a
There's a fisheries proposal that allows for extension of fishery rights into the northern polar region. It seems to be quite a contentious issue because this one is very close to 50-50. You're watching the numbers come in and it's sort of rattling between this sort of 40, 41, 42, 43, and the numbers are quite close. Earlier in the morning, there was one about legalizing the use of dried hemp powder as a medicinal extract. Not hemp, kelp. I meant kelp. Which was voted down because medical experts had put forth evidence that suggested that if the kelp was dried in the wrong way, crystal salts could be kept within that could prove to be either dangerous when inhaled or explosive if the crystals were large enough.
Pat, is that your character smoking some kelp and going...
But all this talk
medicinal
of
to me.
crystals then reminds you about the doctor in his lab.
Right. Shit.
So now, if you leave these things alone, eventually they form. Once they're out of the inert atmosphere, they form into a single large crystal. Still only about a gram, but they
Yeah, of
form into this
course.
complex crystal structure.
just sitting on the outside of the other one that's still sealed.
Yeah.
Just kind of like hugging them. Okay.
Oh no, if it's still on, if you put it on top of the other one, it forms this sort of flat plate on one
Okay.
layer.
Yeah.
With the flat plate of the other one underneath
Yeah.
it, and then they start forming these sort of complementary, slow-moving spirals.
Ooh. Well, they're going back in the hidey hole. We'll experiment with them later when no one's on the ship. But I've sealed up the box. It's all locked up with everything else in there. This is me being chaotic, whatever the fuck I'm supposed to be right now, Pat. So get
Chaotic
used to
Nye.
it. Yeah, chaotic Nye.
Out of character? I love it. In character?
Yes. Yeah, I'll just leave it by the door. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just waiting for someone to come pick it up because I'm done now. Like in terms of the box itself.
I intercom you. Did you clean it up? I want you to do like a full run on yourself medically. I know you're a fucking doctor. You can do this. Just give yourself a medical run on. Do 2 or 3. I'm
No,
not
I've done
letting
it,
you fucking out of there until you've.
No,
okayed
yeah.
yourself.
I mean, you don't have
Guys, do
to.
you
I've
have
got
any
plenty of
cyberware?
mealworms. No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, your character, obviously, I know you, Nye, doesn't have any cyberware.
No, I don't
Other
have
than
any
your glasses.
cyberware. Of course, yeah. I don't have any cyberware. I didn't buy any or think to do that.
Okay, just checking because it was relevant at this juncture.
No, don't worry about it. But yeah, I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, it's all done. Box is sealed. I put all the stuff back in. I made a little clear aluminium thing and slapped the gram back in. No problem at all. It was super easy, and I'd like to roll deception.
Oh God. Is this opposed? Because I mean, like, I don't think my character's the most trusting character.
I got an 11.
Oh, okay.
I'm a bit leery about opposed rolls against other player characters. So he
Completely
sounds
understood.
convincing, and he is a scientist and a doctor, but it's up to you whether you believe him or not.
going to give him the wary go-ahead after I ask the question.
Well, the lie is specifically that everything is back in box. He does not care about getting out of quarantine. He's got plenty of mealworms to eat, and there's a test tube in the back for all the other stuff. So like, he really doesn't care. The only lie he wants is for the box to be gone, so people stop bothering him.
I would have to open the environment on the inside to take the box, so I need to know before I break your quarantine.
Yeah, he'll give some affectation.
And on all those particles on the inside.
Yes,
All those particles on the inside.
Yeah, all back inside the box. I fabricated a little identical and a clear aluminium container, popped them back in there. Nobody will know the difference.
And there's no dust in the air scrubbers or anything.
No. It very much wanted to go back in the box. Back in the box.
All right, because where I come from, protocol is taken very seriously, and I don't dig everything that where I come from did, but I think they had the right idea on that one. But whatever, I'm opening your door now.
To be fair, where she comes from, they have a protocol for foreplay.
Wait, do they have foreplay? I don't think they do.
Yeah, it's the protocol says don't.
It's 2 weeks of writing letters to her father.
Oh, of course, yes, naturally.
The foreplay is remove clothes. Hello, I'm going to have sex with you. Hello, I'm going to have sex with you. Hello, viewer.
No.
But
they're doing it through like a hole in a sheet.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. But also,
and it's witnessed, and you have to sign contracts saying, yeah.
I definitely did not enjoy this at any point.
If the elbows touch, you've gone too far. You deviant.
What you just played out there, Pat, was their PSA video on it. Where did they go wrong? They took all their clothes off, obviously.
Exactly. Where's the protective gear? Where's the knee caps?
Full body.
Come on.
But yeah, he'll like slide it out. As I said, if you want to keep him locked in, he will not have any protests there.
There's literally no point. I've already contaminated the air. You're unlocked.
Okay.
All right, Lee,
munching.
You're up in comms. Vero, you're also the person who is good with trade and such like.
Yes.
So if you want to go
I wanted to know, been meaning to ask, considering it's the capital fashion of this sector, would have I been there before?
You may well have done, yeah. Possibly even before you were the Marquess, when you were tooling around the galaxy as just an idle dilettante looking for stuff to do. Yeah, this is the sort of place you would have visited. There are two sort of fashion capitals in the Attian consensus. This one, and then a much smaller one, which is like their counterculture fashion centre, which is a smaller habitat, but you've probably been to both of them and investigated them before. So the job boards start to become available when you're about 4 hours out, and you can start looking for cargo, for crew.
Now, I'd like to look for the highest class of passengers and look for someone I do, because I'm not doing that mistake again.
I love the idea. It's like you're scanning through and you're looking for someone that uses...
I'm scanning through it like it's Tinder.
Yeah, that's exactly what
it's
you're doing. The left
what
and
I'm
right
doing.
swiping. I love it. Oh no, you've done your selfie all wrong there. No, whatever one is. No, I don't know. Never used him.
So the high passengers are mostly going to Attia itself, to Liviana, which is also in the consensus of Attia, to Fausta, again, an Attian planet, and to Junia, which is the last of the Attian planets. You probably don't want to be trying to make the jump to Liviana, because
I might just lie to them.
That's 3 jumps away. But that's where the high passengers want to go. They've got their eye on Attia, Fausta, and Junia. Junior, looking it up on the Gazetteer is probably one you want to avoid because people going there are like space Amish. They go down to the planet and they start farming and they abandon all technology and they get this sort of weird
No.
commune, chill out, we live with Bronze Age technology kind of vibe going on.
How are they more Amish than actual real life Amish people? Sorry.
So the Attian passengers are probably the ones you want to go for. You've got some diplomats returning home. You've got some local, not nobles, but wealthy people, the equivalent of nobles in the Attian consensus, who are returning home from a holiday that they've been on Kanaes, or from recently attending Kanaean Fashion Week.
I think that unconsciously, as someone who's dodging our diplomatic responsibilities, I'm going to be pinging the diplomat first.
There's also an ambassador wanting to head back to Sobilir Prime, which is galactic north of Kanaes. They appear to be offering the best money at the minute if you can get the contract.
An ambassador and a diplomat. And the ambassador would be if we were to go to the...
Yeah, you got to remember,
No.
Sobilir Prime is a planet at war, though.
Yeah, no.
So one of the reasons they might be offering more money is because it's more risky. They are, however, going in the right direction for the professor.
Yeah, but I mean, I've had enough of Steve, I think.
Which is fair.
He's not exactly a Uthan stock, is he?
No. However, the Sobilir ambassador is a different story. While he himself is an older gentleman, he has a young adjutant that is his nephew, who's very athletic.
To the ambassador.
Yeah.
Like,
All right. Let's go
Why
for
does
the
the
ambassador.
adjutant
And to
have
be
his
perfectly
shirt
honest,
off?
his secretary's rather nice too.
Good. Okay. You're telling me
Why-
go with the ambassador. I'm gonna go with the ambassador.
Why do both
Well,
of
yeah, I
them
mean,
have
if you
their
want to go
shirts
with
off?
the Attians, you've got a whole bunch of fashionistas heading home after Fashion Week. So they're very pretty people, but likely to be high maintenance.
Okay. Well, you're pretty much telling me to go with the ambassador, so this is who I'm gonna pick.
Okay, so in that case, whoever's making the steward role to try and start advance booking passengers, if you could make a steward role.
Yes, indeed.
you are going
I
at-
think it's me, right?
Yes, dice -4. Wait for it though. +2. So it's dice -2. Dice now at +1 because it's got a big population here. So
It's
you're
not a broker role?
no, it's a steward role for passengers.
Okay.
So it's steward +1 to make the roll to see if you can land this contract, or at least an interview to land this contract.
I've got a 10 on my roll, as I know exactly what to say, and I throw out the messages. The very nice, spam advertisement saying, "Welcome aboard the vengeful bitch, the vindictive bitch. We've got quality, class, and style, and we'll get you where you're going."
And that's a good selling point for you, actually. If you're going for high class clientele, you've got staterooms and staterooms to spare, which a lot of people wouldn't have. Do you want to try and get any freight or cargo or mail or anything? This would be over to the brokerage.
I wouldn't care about it. Does anyone suggest to the Marquess to get anything else? Okay, she's just doing space Tinder with the help of
Just doing
RenSpace.
space Tinder. Okay.
I think my character's a little too hands off to suggest that, but like, you know, if anybody had her on hand in the comms, she would say, "Oh yeah, get us some cargo too. That never gets old."
Also be concerned
needs
with.
things.
I'd be concerned with. So we're meeting them at a particular starport to make the exchange, right?
Yes, you're meeting them on the starport at Kanaes.
All right, and there's like one starport for the planet.
Yes.
I would begin looking up, like, the floor plan and security and stuff like that.
Sure.
Especially,
I would too.
especially where, like, checking out the drop site.
Yeah. Drop site appears to be a bar again, like the pickup site. So it's a bar located inside the station, but not too far inside. And you're supposed to be dropping off to a guy who looks exactly the same as the guy you picked it up from.
Well, I think I'm going to be on hand to do that. I suppose I'm probably the most equipped and capable of surviving the aftermath.
And are there faster than light communications and travel that, like, exceed
There
the
aren't,
rate?
no.
Okay.
This is why travelers
change
do so
stars.
well, because you're also the Pony Express.
So, but there is weird shit going on. I'm just thinking they saw the two of you, so maybe you two go to the drop, but I will go to the bar ahead of time and just kind of like scope the place out.
I would probably not be handling the drop off. It'll be on Hawa, I think.
All right, everybody. Here's how we do this. We pick up the new passengers first, then I go deliver this. Because
I
chance
probably
they're gonna be
pick
pissed.
up those passengers.
Yeah, because the nation that Sobalir are at war with is the Yunnan Empire.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. I'm also gonna make sure that I'm wearing the least offensive vest I have. You know, like the nicest poofy
Has a little,
vest.
has a little poofy smiley
Probably
face on
like
it.
the Marquess is gonna fetch something out of her wardrobe to disguise you as the least Yannan possible.
Oh God, this thing's really different. Thanks.
Frankly, a little chiffon scarf would do it. Clearly not Yunnan. They would never wear chiffon.
Pink chiffon. Yeah, that's what you're wearing.
Right, so conversations between yourselves and the Sobalir ambassador start to increase in frequency. He's starting to ask more information about the ship. He has a crew of 4 people. There's himself, secretary, adjutant, and technical advisor. And they do have some cargo that they would like transported, and they are happy to pay a premium for no questions asked on the cargo.
Yeah.
And this is all done very, very subtly. Nobody says, hi, we're weapon smugglers. But they couch the... I love Nice face like,
Oh, they're weapons.
No
I didn't
questions
pick that up.
asked.
Right.
Well, I mean,
yeah, thank you for spelling
I'm
that
very
out.
aware of diplomatic.
Yeah, he's
Great
using
cases.
diplomatic channels to move some. I mean, he's not traveling with like 45 tons of guns in a box, but whatever he is moving is going to be something more valuable. So it's either information or a technological edge of some kind.
Honestly, I'm not really interested about what they're carrying.
Just how good they are at carrying it.
Yeah.
Right, so eventually you reach Knaeus Station, and it looks out over a beautiful planet. There are shuttles going back and forth constantly. It's this huge ocean world. There's an archipelago running all the way around it. Looks nice and warm. There are little white puffy clouds. You can make out little lights on the dark side of the planet. And there are yachts. There are yachts around this place like you wouldn't believe. Also a military fleet moving in and out of position. You've got a couple of docked military ships. You've got a bunch of these sort of ultra expensive yacht ships, kind of like the one you used to own, that are clearly the ships of the very well off. This space station looks like party central right now. And by the time you're there, you start getting warnings flash up on your individual comms. Welcome to Atian space. Please verify your ability to vote in consensus matters for the duration of your stay.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Verified. And I would like to vote for the worst options that I see, very intentionally. Should puppies have human rights? Yes. Et cetera, et cetera.
Should we have complete anarchy every Tuesday? Oh, fuck yeah, go for that, yeah.
Well, by the time you dock,
No pants worn on Fridays. Yeah.
there is a consensus question being floated through the system, which is to do with food hygiene standards when it comes to mixed meat products.
The lower the better. No one needs to know what's in that thing.
There's a relax the status of it and allow mixed meat products to be a little more vague about their contents. And there's a tighten option, which is actually, no, we want to know exactly what proportion of this is rat or human.
Rat and human taste the same.
I'm really not going to ask how you have a frame of reference for that, and I'm going to vote to tighten those restrictions. I want to see what percentage pork is really in that roll.
Do you have to vote?
You start getting really annoying reminders on your device.
Right, okay, yeah, then the professor will literally just like flip press something because he's not interested. He's like, fucking...
Professor just presses A for every answer.
Oh yeah, no, it's literally like a snooze alarm on an alarm clock. That's what he's treating it like, because he's busy doing other stuff.
You people are not right for the consensus of Atia, right?
That's the way the Marcus is. Oh yeah, all those like fucking reminders all the time. Just tap on something and make it go away.
When it pops up, vote go.
Whatever's
We are
top
the worst.
answer. Yeah.
Frat boys in space.
And so the vindictive bitch comes to dock at the starport. You've gone for an outside berth this time rather than an inside berth. So the ship backs on to an external docking port. A lot of the internal ones are overtaken with yachts and people who own yachts. And the ship maglocks in place, seals on. And you go through decontamination to get onto the station. Who wants to go, and where do they want to go, and what do they want to do?
I'm gonna give Awa the professor's slate for the transaction.
Okay.
Do not want to go on. I want everyone to leave the ship so I can do some experimenting.
I wanted to know, did the ambassador want to meet, or what was
Yes,
kind of
the
that
ambassador does
conversation?
want to have a meeting. You've done most of the paperwork. It's just a sign-off. He just wants to make sure that you're not too good to be true.
Okay. So I'll probably be handling that.
So he wants to meet in the Travelers Aid Society bar. But he
Which
can
I
get you signed in.
access. Yeah. Okay.
So Nye, you want to stay on the ship. Hawa, what's Hawa going to do?
So my first question is, do they have one of those, like, check your weapons here for the duration and pick them up afterwards? Actually, no, that's stupid. She's going to leave all her weapons on the ship. Unfortunately, she doesn't get to do that cool, like, pulling her weapons out of her various parts scene that everybody does. Just pretend she does that on the ship, emptying out her pockets. And then she heads out to the bar.
See, how about this is why when espionage, one becomes the weapon.
Oh, honey, I can punch you under a table.
But not
I love the idea is that like drinking you under a table, only more direct.
I'm
Lee,
not a
what are you
subtle
gonna do?
woman.
Purcell is gonna like coordinate with Hava and be like, "All right, Hava, I'm going to go scout the area out, and if I see, and I've got like a flower brooch, and I'll switch my brooch to the right side if I think they're on to us and they're about to hop you, and then we can resolve it. But I suspect they would not be stupid enough to start some sort of an engagement in a Law 10 spaceport. That would be most unwise. But just in case. They are a strange group of people we're dealing with, to be sporting the precise same face and unsure of their counterpart's name.
Yeah, I really hope they just don't look at inside of it and just hand over the money. Be very nice if they did,
I suspect they would not be willing to open it in public. But they could
Yeah,
have
so
other
I don't
means
see
of
any
verification.
reason why this should be a problem.
Right, so
But,
Hawa doesn't head out first. Persilius heads out first
Yeah.
to get to the sort of downtown version of a bar.
Yeah.
And it's a little lounge place, again, somewhat lower than the main thoroughfare that it's set on. They seem to have a bit of a thing for underground locations, whoever these guys are. And it's a fake wooden bar. Looks like it's been made out of resined seaweed to look like wood. There's a really strong smell of shellfish in the air as you're passing through this district. Boiled, cooked, finely sauced shellfish with lots of rich buttery smells circulating around it as well. And as you head into this bar, there's about half a dozen people in there. They all seem to be fairly quiet. You've got two groups of two. One couple, one pair of businessmen sat having a drink. A couple are mooning into each other's eyes. There's one guy sat at the bar on his own, and then a gentleman sat at a table alone, perfectly calm, perfectly still. He has a glass in front of him, but he hasn't touched a drop out of it, and he matches the description of the person that Hawa saw before.
All right, I pay them no mind and I head to the bar. There's one loner at the bar, correct?
Yes, there is, yeah.
I size them up. What do they look like? They look like they're waiting to jump someone, or they're security, or are they just here to drink?
No,
alone?
it's a guy. He looks like he's been working all day and has just gone into the bar to relax. He's undone his tie from around his neck and undone his top button, and he's drinking a big glass of a sort of clear, it's almost clear liquid, kind of a pale yellowish clear liquid.
I will walk up to the bar and strike up conversation and just sort of maintain a cover there. But I'm trying to study everybody here and see if they look like they're packing heat, if it looks like there's an obvious escape route through the back, if it looks like they'd have to go through the front door.
There is clearly a way out the back, yeah.
All right.
The guy that you're chatting to is quite flattered that this young lady in Uthan clothing, everybody knows what you say about Uthans, has kind of sat down next to him and struck up a conversation.
How's it going?
He's quite flattered, and he engages you and offers to buy you a drink.
I'd be thrilled. Tell me, what do you have here? What's the good stuff?
This is a local drink, a cocktail that we make using a spirit brewed from seaweed flowers.
Seaweed flowers, it sounds lovely.
Yeah, we take the
I'll have
petals and let me get you one. And it's mixed with a sparkling citrus beverage that we produce on some of the islands. And he has the barman bring you one over, and it's this interesting mix of sort of sweet and bitter. So the flowers have clearly got the bitterness, and then it's got this sweet overlay over the top of it.
I love this because my airport drink in real life is an amaretto sour, and I imagine I've just found the space amaretto sour. I'm like, very nice. But yeah, so I would maintain like casual interest in the things he's telling me as I'm actually there in case this stuff goes down at the meet.
So you scope the joint. Hawa comes in a little while later. Like Nyarlathotep says, subtle as a bulldozer. Although she is wearing a very tasteful pink chiffon scarf.
She doesn't know what chiffon is. She won't.
Why have I got a long hanky around my neck?
She just takes it. She's used to it. Most things are a lot more involved than the culture she's from.
You'd be familiar with
where
scarves.
it's basically like, oh yeah. She doesn't know what
'cause
chiffon
to hide
itself.
the nape of your neck, which is of course sacrilege. You know, it's awful. It's just that's
Yeah,
basically,
no, I mean like there are
pornographic
parts,
at that point. Yeah.
No, there's parts of the place where you've got like very puritanical outfits.
Yeah.
So like she's accustomed to covering certain parts of her body. She's just not accustomed to the particular fabric and you know the finery of it.
Literally
Everybody
to the
does weirder
second
things.
that Hawa sets foot in the bar, the mark, I guess, stands up. So you can see him straight away. He stands up when he sees you walk in through the bar. And it is eerie how much he looks exactly like his counterpart that was 2 parsecs away, that couldn't possibly have got here before you. But he is the spitting image of the other one. Down to the clothes and everything.
You don't look a day older. Good friend.
Thank you. As you say, we attempt to make sure that transactions can be conducted in absolute trust, so you'll know exactly who it is you're dealing with. Can I purchase for you a beverage?
I'm kind of hoping to get a move on. I'll take a beverage. Sure.
Well,
yeah,
please
take
sit.
Take a drink. Just a beer.
So you're
Whatever they
brought
got
a
on
beer that's got like a little wedge of citrus fruit of some kind. It's this sort of pink citrus fruit wedge jammed in the end of your beer.
Do they have ashtrays on the table?
No, goodness no.
Do they have like any sort of like?
That was voted
do they
out
have, like,
years ago.
Do they have a napkin or something on the table?
Yeah, he brings you a napkin with your drink.
She puts the fruit on the napkin.
I trust there were no problems with the transit.
She kind of taps the box gently.
Excellent, excellent. And you've identified no sign of any pursuit or interest in your craft?
No, nothing at all, actually. I'm kind of surprised. The way you've been talking this up, I figured there would be. Nothing.
Wonderful. This is why we like to go with independent contractors for a job such as this one.
Well, we're happy to be of service.
He slides a small credit chip across the table to you. Here is the second half of your payment.
Thank you very much. Pleasure doing business.
Thank you for a job well done. Then he reaches under the table and he slides the briefcase back over to him.
I stay there a minute and sip my drink.
He frowns a little when he handles the briefcase. Sort of hefts it a little bit and then puts it down again.
Thanks for the beer.
You're welcome. Has anybody tampered with the case in transit?
I look like I'm thinking for a long while, and then I say, tampered. No.
Can you make a deception
I was definitely
roll,
a
please?
I was
Oh,
hoping to
God.
get through this without having to make one of those. God damn it. Shit.
If only you knew what experiments I'm running while you're all out.
What happens
I
if it
do-
interacts with my contact lens?
I do have 2 rerolls. I'm gonna use one right now. Ha! Yeah, she just deadpan. No.
Excellent. Thank you. A pleasure. Perhaps we will contract you again another time. And he picks up
Pleasure.
the briefcase and leaves.
I just walk out slowly, but with intent.
When I study him, do you have any sign that he's like sussed?
He is incredibly difficult to read altogether. This guy gives nothing. In fact, what I will get you to do is probably an investigate roll, I guess.
Sounds about right.
Or if you want to find out deception, you have to roll deception yourself. If it's.
But it's not a deception that we're looking for on this chap, really.
Like studying him more or less.
You're sort of studying him. So
Recon
you
or
can make
investigate?
a basic investigate roll, or you can make an. Is it engineer now? It's mechanic or medic.
Yeah, I'll be going with investigate because I
Okay.
guarantee that my investigate is up 4 and any of that's probably down 3. So let's see, 10.
He appears to be less human than human, to counter the words of Mr. R. Zombie. Either this guy is heavily laden with expensive and camouflaged cyberware, or he is partially, if not completely, synthetic.
Are androids that look exactly like humans a legal thing that just exists?
They're not exactly something that would be common. Most places couldn't manufacture them. You'd be looking at technology beyond what the human polities could manage. And since the human polities are among the most advanced,
The highest tech level in the system was the Ren, right?
yes. The Ren Remnant have a tech level of 13.
And do I have any knowledge of synthetics from my experience in espionage and the surveillance state?
Yeah, and they're shit. We're talking the T800s, the T600s had rubber skin. We learned to spot them real quick. That's about the limit of human technology. They can mask cybernetics quite well. In a person that is mostly human, they can give you skin grafts and covers and plastic and artificially grown flesh that will cover it at tech level 11 or 12. But these guys are like next generation. If they've got cyberware, it's invisible. If they're synthetics, they're invisible. But they're not right.
For reference, like for the ones that you're describing, the ones that they like picked up really quickly, how much of like on the Turing test do they pass? Like if a regular schmo walked up to like one of the rubber-faced ones, would they go, "Oh, you are a synthetic," or would
Yeah.
there be like,
No,
sorry,
unless you
I was just
were
trying to visualize
really
it.
quite stupid. The rubber-faced ones would be like, I mean, you'd say, wow, this AI is really developed.
Oh yeah, of course.
But you
yeah, 'cause
wouldn't
you're like, oh
assume
my
it was
God.
human.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
Whereas these guys clearly pass most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't always
Right.
tell.
I wait for Hala to leave, and then afterwards I make up some excuse to go a little while after.
Yeah, he seems a little disappointed, but he's quite gracious about it, and he thanks you for the conversation and gives you his comm details in case you're in town again. So, Vera, you're at the Travelers Aid Society Lounge.
I'm in my fineries, and of course, in my handbag is the bunny iguana macaroon.
Naturally. Let me think. He's Sobelier, isn't he? Bear with me a second.
Don't think you told me where they were going.
Dee. And there's the Marquess.
The Sobelier ambassador is heading back to Sobelier Prime, I believe.
Yes. So the man you're looking for is Commodore Quess. And when you give his name at the entrance to the lounge, he says that the steward waiting there says, "Of course, miss, let me show you to him." And sat at a very well-appointed bar, you've got this stocky but well-built older gentleman in a military uniform. His hat's on the bar next to him. Salt and pepper hair, clean shaven, quite a stern look to him. He's got a bit of a scar in one eyebrow. And he stands up when you approach and takes your hand. When you offer him the hand, are we going like hand out or hand out?
Probably hand out. Like he's cultured. Yeah.
So he does kiss your hand when you offer it to him that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he bows slightly to do so. Wonderful to meet a lady of culture in these parts. Please join me for a drink.
My pleasure.
Is there anything in particular that you would like? Or may I suggest one of the local beverages?
Oh, maybe I'll try something new. Yeah. What's new in Kanaes?
They have a local drink here, which is a combination of seaweed flowers and this carbonated citrus drink. Perhaps you will like it.
Sounds lovely.
So it comes in like a wine glass and it's chilled and it's this sort of yellowish colour. Sweet and bitter at the same time.
Kind of like Edelweiss wine. Take it.
Madam, it is a very great pleasure that you are able to accommodate us on the ship of your captain, who is a doctor, I understand.
Yes.
Wonderful. Scientist vessel?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. And you say you have a number of staterooms which are available.
Yeah, as you do.
Good, good. This is wonderful. I do not particularly enjoy traveling in low berths, and I don't like putting my staff through it when I don't need to.
Understandable.
Now we're traveling.
Less.
We're traveling to Sobelia Prime, and obviously, as a gentleman of my stature, much as I could call for a Sobeleri military escort vessel, I prefer not to do so. Instead, we will reimburse you appropriately, and at the same time, if you are able to carry a small cargo for us, then we would compensate you equally as though there was another entire passenger.
Sounds good to me.
Excellent. This is wonderful. And the rest of your crew, can you tell me about them?
There isn't much to tell about them.
There is yourself and this scientist doctor.
And the other are really hired hands.
Okay, I'm a little concerned because I note from the file that one of your crewmates is a former Yanan soldier.
Defected, I understand.
Ah, defected. Very interesting.
I think you wouldn't be in better hands than with an ex-Yanan officer.
I understand. Those who manage to break free from their ridiculous mental
Are the
programming.
best ones to protect you.
Quite. And I'm quite safe with my adjutant and my secretary. They are admirable bodyguards at the best of time. And he sort of gestures over to another table on the other side of the room where this tall, handsome young officer is sat quite rigidly next to a slender young lady. And there's a shadowy third figure with their back to you. They have a hood instead of a hat, but still military uniform. So the contract will be for the transport for myself, my adjutant, my secretary, my advisor, and our cargo, which if possible we would like to keep in one of our staterooms with us.
Yeah, I mean, better for us. It's not occupying any cargo space.
Absolutely. It is not particularly large. It is the size of slightly broader than I myself, and maybe a little taller than I. And it is all boxed and sealed. There is no risk to your ship and crew from transporting it. It is very carefully maintained.
Well, when do you need to leave?
Well, at the earliest possible opportunity. Ideally, we would like to be on our way to Sobele Prime within the next 2 days. I understand if you need to pick up any cargo or mail or other passengers and such like.
Well, I need to refresh my wardrobe.
Of course, yes. Well, few better places to do it than on the world of Kanaes. I must say I rather approve of the current style. It feels very home to me.
Mm-hmm.
Although these very large collars are quite extravagant. I do not think you would be able to fight very well wearing such as these.
Yeah. I think it's like, would there be something about me that would like kind of be a tell that I'm from Utan, or like?
I mean, it would
his
probably be on your
accent?
file, and he did say that he's
Yes.
looked at the files for people on your ship.
But how much was I able to have that file modified?
Not a great deal, I would imagine. He clearly knows that you're nobility,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew that you had an ex-Yannan crew member, so he's probably quite canny. You suspect this guy's probably looked into your ship and crew in some detail. So he probably knows that you're Uthan. He probably doesn't know much beyond that, other than the fact that you're a Marquess and that you potentially have duties as such.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would the rest of your attaches like to join us?
At the moment, or when we are aboard your ship? Aboard your ship,
At the
definitely they will.
moment, I've been on a jump for a week with terribly boring people.
Well, please come and join us at the table. We need not sit over here at the bar. I thought you might wish to discuss privately first, but yes, come and sit with us. Would you like to take dinner? We're about to eat shortly.
Oh, yes, of course. Fresh seafood from the consortium in Batia. Who could ask for
Absolutely, they have some of the finest shellfish. So you sit down at the table, and the nephew is very handsome, square-jawed, sort of dark, sort of olive brown skin. He's got his hair swept across, military style, but shaved on both sides. Dark brown eyes. He has a small goatee and is very, very broad across the shoulders. The Commodore's secretary has a ring in her nose and her ear and a chain running between the two. And she's wearing 2 studs over one eyebrow, which you know are service studs that you don't get for just being a secretary.
What are they?
Service studs. You would get them for sort of serving 5 years in the military in a frontline capacity.
Okay.
These aren't the decorations of an idle back office paper pusher. And she's quite lithe rather than heavy. She looks like she'd be very quick. You wouldn't want to play racquetball against her.
Mm-hmm.
And the third member of his party is this very, very thin, emaciated looking man. He's got deep sunken cheeks. Again, quite a dark nut brown coloured gentleman with these very intense brown eyes looking out of his hood. He's got this long, dark military coat on as well. He looks very much like a military intelligence kind of guy. And judging by the look of his face, he hasn't smiled in the last 15 years.
It can, like, I think my aim for the rest of the time I spend with them is try to get them to loosen up a bit and see if they're fun at all.
Well, the secretary, when she sees Macaroon, her face just lights up straight away, and she coos over your little pet. Oh, he's lovely. What is his name?
Macaroon. And I'll
What an
over
adorable
Macaroon.
creature. Where did you come by such a thing?
It came
And
with the
she's
ship.
kind of holding it there and like
Mhm.
jiggling it in front of her face.
It came with the ship.
Came with the ship. What wonderful. That's so lovely. Pleasure to meet you. And you sit and you have food with them, and everybody sort of relaxes a little bit, except for hoodie greatcoat guy, who's rocking the edgelord vibe.
I'm gonna try and drink him under the table
He's not
for
drinking.
shits and giggle.
He's on small glasses of water. He doesn't even drink big glasses of water.
Jesus.
And he picks at some small prawn-like seafood where the others dig into these bastard great lobster things. Like stabbing a noosagui to death.
Okay.
Reference.
Eating that guar.
If you know, you know.
All right, Nye, back on the ship. Everybody's out doing their thing. You're all by your onesie. It's just
Yes.
you and the iguana bunnies.
It is. And of course, I'm keeping them safe. I don't want them near the experimentation.
Well, naturally.
Because that would be dangerous, of course.
I thought they were baniguana.
Bunny iguanas, they could be. Iguana bunnies, bunny iguanas.
Yeah, it's not. We don't have to worry about that whole terminology of which one is which. So, there's something I would like to do, but I don't know if it would be fair for my character to make the jump in logic. But
Okay.
I would like to see what happens when the unboxed stuff comes into contact with an electronic device, something off the ship's power, so like a tablet or some kind of computer or something. But I can't. I don't want to do it just because Nye thinks it'd be interesting, because that's not a scientific way of doing things. So I probably would be using a microscope or something like.
Okay, so
but
what,
that's-
like a single circuit or something?
Yeah, just because it has electricity in it.
Yeah, it
so I want to
does.
see what would happen, but I don't want to let it loose on the ship.
Yeah,
if it
understandable.
can. Yeah.
So you put this crystal
Yeah, just near it.
onto an electrical device,
Mhm.
lowest setting on the microscope, binocular scope, and you're looking through it, and it spreads over a course of about a minute and a half. It spreads out along all of the circuitry patterns. Where possible, it slides inside cracks in the device. But first it mimics the circuit patterns on the inside, and then it kind of slowly tries to move inside. You can stop it before it does, but it definitely mimics internal circuitry externally.
And can I get it out of the device? Will it? If I have the boxed one, will it return to?
It
try
will
and be
return
with
to the
its-
boxed one.
Okay,
Yes, that's
okay,
good thinking. Well
interesting.
done. So the
Okay,
boxed
okay.
one is a way of pulling it out of things.
Right. Ha ha ha. Okay. I imagine that was like a really simple circuit that just like put on a light bulb or something,
Yeah.
like super basic.
Like a torch or something.
Yeah. Oh boy, but
It does
don't know
turn
how to-
on the torch
it without me applying power
without you
to the
applying
torch.
any extra power to the torch.
Oh, okay. Oh, the things I want to do, but I think it probably would be fairer to not. Fuck it. If I've already done that, I think he's the kind of mad scientist that would definitely immediately try and interface this with like a tablet. I probably have like a blank one lying around with nothing on it. I don't know. It's the hyper future. Like I presume
Yeah,
That's
like the
tech,
ship would
right?
have had like a stack of tablets
Yeah.
in the lab ready for you to pick up and start recording individual experiments.
Exactly, yeah, like nothing fancy. And I would like to place the unboxed one near it and see what happens. 'Cause
So,
obviously tablet's somewhere.
straight away, the unboxed one starts to elongate out towards it. It sends out like this crystalline pseudopod. It's like all of the individual crystals break apart again into grains, and the grains, attached by some kind of electrostatic attraction, move over one another until it comes into contact with the tablet. And as it comes into contact with the tablet, it kind of pulls the rest of it along behind it. And
Okay.
it slides up over the tablet at first. The tablet powers up as it makes contact with it, and it sort of sinks into the interface and breaks down into these little tiny grains again and goes inside the tablet, and the tablet starts cycling through applications and memory
Okay.
and all of the basic stuff that comes attached. So camera functions come on, writing functions come on, and it just prints lots of gobbledygook on the screen.
Interesting. Like complete gibberish, but like in a language I can read. It's
Yeah,
not
it's like something's accessed the functionality of a keyboard and pressed all the buttons to see what they do.
Interesting. Okay. I think what I would like to do is, first off, can I say, out of character, I now totally get why the scientists and things like Alien do the shit they do, because this is fun. I know this is super dangerous, but this is so much fun. Okay. Kind of want to leave the tablet, but I'm not sure what its capabilities are. So is there a container, a Tupperware perhaps, that I can leave the tablet in and just like something self-contained that's not
So you want
attached
to put
to
it
any
in like
electrical
a
system?
little self-contained, there's like a
Yeah.
plastic tub that
Just
you can put it in.
just
yeah.
to see if it gets smarter, because at the moment what it seems to be doing is just trying everything on the tablet, and I want to see if it can go past that point. If it's inert and just like,
After about an
presses all
hour, the
buttons.
tablet does power down again,
Okay, interesting.
and this stuff sort of starts to leak out of it.
Right. Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll scoop it all back up onto the little cube, put it back in its smaller Tupperware, and slide it into the hidden compartment, because I don't know if people are going to be in the lab, and then I'll go back to doing...
Okay,
regular
as you
science
scoop
stuff.
it up back into its container, it makes the shape of the letter A inside the container.
Whoa. Okay. Oh.
And then as
Okay.
it gets close to the other one again, it presses up against the side of the container.
Yeah.
And then the other one also makes the shape of the letter A.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right, well, I'll leave that for now. Okay, I'll just put it back. I'm excited.
Okay, Nye, can you make an investigate roll?
I can. It's going to be an utter failure, but I can definitely do that, because my investigate is very bad. Where's investigate? There it is. Yep, this would be... Oh, no, it's only a -1, so it's not the worst. It's a 5.
You don't notice.
I don't notice. Yeah.
Hawa, you're the next one back to the ship. And you do notice, because there's a drilling crew.
Is a drilling crew on our ship?
Not on your ship yet. They're kind of waiting in the foyer just outside your ship.
Hello, hi. What are you doing here?
Yeah, we're here for the drilling job.
Yeah, you must be mistaken. What drilling job?
The drilling job for the professor in the asteroid.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I think I would have kicked them out the ship as soon as we landed. Like, no, you didn't pass the interview. Get off.
That's not stopped him. He's also waiting in the lounge. Yeah, the professor over there. And there's the archaeologist who you've had for the past week.
Oh, that professor. I'm sorry, there's 2 professors on board. It's very confusing. Professor, you can... Wait, hold on. Are you saying you're coming on our ship?
Yes, I managed to extend my funding. It's wonderful. They've given me enough money to afford a drilling crew. It's excellent news, and you're heading in the right direction, so I just want to go in that way with you. I'd love to retain your services into the asteroid field. But if we can only go as far as Sobolir, that's fine too. I can always get an onward ship from there. But you're my good luck charm. Your steward, such a helpful chap. Really helped me get my head on straight. Helped me recognise all sorts of things. Didn't it, Stephen? Didn't it? And Stephen's like, yeah, he looks really tired. He's not been sleeping.
Well, you know what? That's fantastic. I'm very happy you're making breakthroughs. You're gonna have to talk to the Marquess though, because I think she's booked some other passengers.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be room. These chaps can share. They won't mind. Besides, I thought this was the scientist's ship. And
so I mean, the scientist kind of has a hands-off approach to ship ownership.
I see. Right, a researcher doesn't want to be bothered.
Yes, you understand completely. The scientist does science things. Other people do the everything else. Got it? And the Marquess does the business and booking passages.
Understood. Well,
stuff.
Would you mind giving her a call? Let her know that we'd like to retain your services further.
I'm sure she'll be amenable to it. She'll be back post haste. I'm pretty sure. I was certain that she left before me.
He's off carousing for the rest of the night.
Well, you're an officer, aren't you? Is it all right if we get set back up in the cabin?
Sure. You know what? I'm sure she's gonna go ahead and say yes to this. If not, just make sure you don't assemble things inside. Everybody come on in and bunker down, but don't wait in the lobby. Kind of creeps me out.
Of course. So, Lee, you arrive just as Howard is waving the professor and his
I turned to you
assistant
immediately.
and an entire drilling crew.
Watching this happen.
Did the Marquess okay this? Tell me she did.
And I'm like, I thought she kicked him off the moment we got here. What are we?
Well, he hasn't left.
And I'm like, well, we're going to Sobolir Prime, right? Does that make his stop on our way?
Totally does. Like I have no problem personally, but the Marquess might, and also we gotta get going fast. Like you saw that man's face, right?
And I'm like, that individual is not going to take long to realize that we have given them a counterfeit.
I'm saying.
At which point in time they will begin. You know what? Could you?
I think he realized it the second I handed it to him.
You're a bodyguard. Why don't you call your charge and get her back here?
So, Vero, can you make a carouse roll for me?
Of course.
She's taking way too goddamn long.
Oh my word! Well, the Commodore himself is very impressed with you. He thinks you're wonderful. He starts treating you like a favoured niece. Including you in everything, telling you old war stories. The nephew also seemed, and the secretary both seem quite taken as well. The military advisor stops giving you stink eye. He's not warming to you, but he's starting to see that you could be a useful asset, which is probably the best you're going to get out of him. But the adjutant and the secretary, they both relax into their roles. They don't see you as a threat. They have a few drinks. They relax. The Commodore relaxes, chills out a lot more. At some point, he sends the military advisor off to go and transfer the cargo onto your ship. He says, well, it has been absolutely wonderful. Would you mind escorting us to your ship and we can get settled and maybe start straight away?
Yes, of course.
I will have a steward from the station bring our effects over to your ship, which truly a fascinating name. And you say it was named after his mother.
It made me laugh, so I kept it.
Very good, very good. Yes. Okay, well, let's make our way back to your ship then. And then your comm goes.
You would have like 10 messages at this point on your phone if you were checking it.
Yeah, because I put it on silence, like, oh, well, there's fucking votes, like, I don't care.
The last one probably says, "We need to leave now."
I like the idea that they get in more severe as well. Like they're starting to drill is like the last one.
We have a drill team. I've okayed them to get on. I figure you'll do some stuff 5 messages later. We have a drill team on the ship now. Period.
So I'm just gonna write back. I told Steve to fuck off.
It's drill team 6.
Steve didn't fuck off. The Mark knows we've cheated him. Get back to the ship. We are leaving.
All right. So
Lee, at this point, a very sinister-looking man arrives, pushing a grav-assisted box with him, which is slightly taller and broader than a human. He's wearing this sort of long leather-look military coat and has a hood up to hide his face.
With me or with the?
No, he's on his own. The Commodore and the other two are with you. They sent him off early to get the cargo on the ship.
Okay. No,
We haven't met him yet, so
this very sinister-looking, thin man arrives at the back entrance of the ship. Good evening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the
Hello,
stewardess,
handsome.
so I think this is my job. I show up and I'm like, "Good evening, welcome to the Vindictive Bitch. Have you
And
booked
are
passage
the
with us?"
stewardess of this vessel.
Quite so.
My Commodore has secured passage for our party with the lady who serves as your diplomat.
Ah, yes, of course.
I am
The
to bring our
Commodore.
cargo aboard and store it in my stateroom.
Of course. I will show you right to your room. Come. Yes, I've arranged several staterooms on one side of the hallway for you and your party, right this way.
Nobody else will be allowed to enter the room.
Certainly. Well,
I will kill them if I find them.
Well, you seem
I
like
like
a very
this guy.
seem
We'll
like a
put a
very
post-it on the door.
you seem like a very sharp man. I'm sure no one will get past you. But I will leave your food outside. There's a.
I will come
Indeed.
outside to join for meal times, but I do not require extensive service.
Of course, you will be given the utmost privacy. I
These
assure
rooms
you.
will not need to be cleaned while I am present.
I am sure your
I have the same
fastidiousness
policy
knows
with my
no
ship.
bounds. Now then, allow me to show you to your room and chamber, which will not be violated during our passage.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So this guy
Just put a
pushes this
post-it.
massive box one-handed through the corridors of the ship. A couple of drilling engineers sort of walk past and sort of skirt the wall past him at one point.
I'm putting this guy in the opposite end of the hallway from everyone else.
Yeah, very wise.
Just put a post-it that says.
That kind of
like, on
puts
the
him
door, it
next to
says,
Nye's
"Don't."
room.
You know what?
My
Well,
room, you say, with the experimental thing in the box.
No, not the lab. Nye's room.
Oh,
yeah, sure. I mean, I'll let everyone know. Big man with box says he'll kill anyone who goes in his room. I wouldn't test him. He looks like he'd take a few hits.
is like he's obviously whispering. Is that like a hard like if you go in he'll super kill you, or is
Yes,
it like a kind
correct.
of haggly? Oh, I'll
you will
get
not.
you.
su-
Okay.
You will not survive. I trust
Okay.
me. You in particular. I mean, you in particular, Doctor, will not survive. Me, maybe I could swing it. You know.
No, yeah,
You will not
I,
survive.
no. Hey, I wouldn't. I would never.
Uh-huh.
I would never interfere with another nation's
Uh-huh.
material if I was going to get caught.
Oh, you
Ignore
definitely-
that last part.
You definitely didn't shortchange the person we delivered that weird briefcase on the stuff that was inside of it, right?
No.
So at this point, the Marquess arrives with 3 more individuals, all in similar military uniform to your scary passenger, although theirs look more official and less sinister.
Milo. Yes. Yes. The Commodore and party, please. I have shown another one of your party to his chambers. Now let me show you to your chambers. Come right this way. You all have staterooms. Wonderful, wonderful.
Excellent. This is wonderful news. My dear, thank you very much. I'm sure you have much to attend to now that we are back on your ship. Perhaps once we are underway, you can give me a tour and show me around.
Yes, of course. I will be back tomorrow morning.
What?
And will there be any drink reception as we leave, perhaps?
Yeah,
Most
we can have
certainly.
drinks.
There'll be beverages for first meal as we leave, and if you've already had dinner, then we'll have.
Wonderful. Then we shall meet you in your ready room, or do you have a bar or restaurant?
Oh, we have a lounge. We also have an extensive meal room. I will show you the amenities.
Dance
once we're set.
floor.
Yes,
Excellent.
I'll show you.
Wonderful. It has been many years since I have had the chance to move on the dance floor. But let us be underway. The quicker we can reach Sobele Prime, the better.
I'm with this guy. The quicker the better. Why wait?
I have
So
shopping.
these guys, Pat, are Sobele natives, the people whom the Yanaan are at war with, and they're a little frosty when they hear you and see you, and they go on guard a little
I
bit.
love Sabalier.
Muscles
Great
tense up.
place. Great people.
Maybe not the best way to open with. I love them. They're great fighters. I mean, no, I've never fought any Sabaliers. No.
Great fighters. They
Uh,
such honor during the parts that great people.
yeah.
Don't worry. Your diplomatic friend has explained your status to us. As long
Cool.
as you are genuine and harbor no ill will towards myself or my people, we will harbor no
I
ill will
harbor-
towards you.
Plenty of ill will towards Yanaan. No ill will towards anybody except for those who would do harm to my crew and my fellow travelers.
Your
Fuck
good
those
friend
guys.
has seen to it that under no circumstances will I or my people allow any harm to come to you while we are on board.
Of course,
No.
of course.
I mean, like harm can come to me. That's fine. I meant. The
You mean in the term
and
of
Percy and-
external harm. Lee, can you make an investigate or recon roll?
Yeah, I'll go with the.
I'm just so
investigate.
happy to be going somewhere
I'm
fast.
I'm trying to get in here to be like, oh my god, shut your fucking mouth. We do not want them to sus. I score a 9.
Speaking of things that are sus, you recognize a figure down the corridor coming into the departure gate. A very familiar looking gentleman in a plain brown suit
Oh,
with
no.
a very schooled neutral lock to his
We
face.
should leave.
I literally get on the. I literally like. Is there like a undock button?
Not in the cargo hold, but you could slam the door close and cheese it.
I am closing the cargo hold, and I am turning, and I'm like, yes, my dear. I put my hand, lean in, and say, I've seen them. They're coming. Cockpit, take off now, and give her a little shove, and turn to my friends. And as she's,
Where is the Marquess?
Right there with you.
I would
thank
turn
God.
to our guests and say, I pay no mind to the help. As you know, often a hound is the best for sniffing out hounds, and I assure you, her very nature precludes her from any cooperation with the unfortunate state of her birth. But she is quite proficient.
I swear I'm a lot friendlier when we're not in stations. I hate stations.
I've told you that he's coming. I told you to go fucking take off. I'm looking at you like, what the fuck are you still doing here? Go, go, go.
All right.
And I am closing the hangar door. And I'm like, now, if we
I am
all
running
please
to
go
the goddamn
stateroom.
con.
This hangar is not fit for such a fine diplomatic party. Your companions already come ahead with the cargo for their room, which no one's to enter. Please. And I'll look at the Marquess
Grabbing the
like,
Marquess.
So, Marquess,
Taking
you're
her
kind of
with
left
me.
alone in the cargo bay.
no, I do not leave the Marquess alone.
I want to grab it. Everybody
You're
wants to
not
grab
left alone
her.
in the cargo bay, apparently. They're both grabbing you.
She's the
They're
person of
yanking me.
attention right now.
It's like, I'm going shopping. Oh, no, you don't.
And as you
I'm
were
in the
heading
lab,
towards the door, you
oblivious.
could see the screen that looks into the lounge, and you recognise the guy from the bar back on Quawatch walking
you
into the
guys do?
departure lounge with purpose, shall we say.
Yeah.
And then you see him again walking next to him. There are two of them.
All right.
I'm gonna run to her and like, what did you guys do? To Persless.
And the ship pulls
Bloody
away.
hell.
And as you pull away, the connection with the station is lost. You lose the video feed to the departure
I
lounge.
go to the airlock. I go to the fucking airlock and whip out my sword. There's anything on the other side.
I think I'm probably flying because I think Kanaes in the science room.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, let's have a pilot roll.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh. If you only
Alright,
knew what I
let's
now
see.
want to do with the super special material.
I've got one more reroll if this one fails. Is the 6 a pass? I don't...
The 6 is
No,
not a
target
pass.
is 8.
Okay, one more reroll. Let's see. That's
Oh.
even worse.
Oh no!
So
This is why you take procedure when you undock from a facility.
you pull away from the dock, and the klaxons start blaring, and your headset on the table on the controls in front of you, because you haven't even put the headset on. You've just kind of jumped into the chair and gone. Ugh! The headset starts
Guess I'm
crackling
flying
like,
now.
warning, vindictive bitch, you are not disconnected from space dock. You are not disconnected from space dock. I repeat.
Slap a red L on the back of the ship.
Lee,
I got
from
another
behind the grate, you hear this shrieking metallic sound as though something is being ripped apart by fantastic strength. And the ship
right.
kind of shudders and shakes a little bit. Everybody in the corridors does a bit of a Shatner.
I come on the intercom and say, we're experiencing some brief space turbulence. If you would all please get to your rooms and await the end of the undocking procedures. And yeah, I'm
Can you make
gonna,
an engineering roll, Lee?
I can try. What stat would govern this engineering roll?
Education
or intelligence?
or intelligence? I think intelligence would probably be the one here.
All right, I'll go for the intelligence one, so it's slightly not as bad. Now, I haven't used any of my rerolls. That was a 4. Could I use one of my
Four.
Lee
You could
rolls?
absolutely
You've
use a
got so
reroll.
many.
All right, I use a Lee roll on it.
Oh,
fuck,
no.
It's a 5. Well,
-3.
We all
Oh
had 2.
no.
yeah, I'm not an engineer. I would say, I would be like, they're boarding. They're ripping open the fucking doors. You need to go.
That's not what's happening. I say specifically to you.
Seriously, just be like, I'm sorry, I'm still learning how to pilot this thing.
Yeah, no.
So you pull
I grab the
away.
headset and I say, sorry about that.
You pull
You
away.
can build a Marquess.
And station control says, vindictive bitch, you've just committed significant damage to the ship. If you try to flee without accounting for this, we're going to have to charge you with crimes against the consensus of Atia.
Oh, no.
This is sabotage of a space station. You've rendered our space dock inoperable.
We had some small malfunctions on
You
the ship.
do
I'm
have
so
the
sorry.
credit tablet of the professor who has 200,000 credits on it if you want to make a transfer.
Yeah. I think we're gonna pay right now. Can I send some credits over via mail?
Vindictive
Or-
bitch, this is station control. Superintendent, just to let you know that you are looking at a charge of 150,000 credits to cover damages done to the station and legal fees. If you're prepared to transfer those credits now, we will not dispatch gunboats to bring you back in.
Do we have that kind of
Do it.
funds on us?
You have 200K
Yeah.
on the tablet.
Oh, I have like 2 million. At least it says
Yeah.
No,
cash
you
on
no
hand.
longer
Sending-
have 2 million.
Oh, I
because we
don't? Okay.
sold the shares. Like, never mind.
Okay, never
Sending
mind.
funds over right now. So
taking
sorry
the
about
usual.
that.
Funds received, vindictive bitch. Please take care when docking with space stations. You may want to get your rear hatch looked at.
Will do. Much appreciated.
Now
ta-ta.
the rear hatch, are they coming in the hangar or are they coming in the airlock?
I think nobody's coming in.
No,
I
I
Nobody's
think we
think
coming
just
in
it's
at
broke
all.
their
Pat
ship.
just ripped a chunk of the station off.
I think I just
But-
destroyed the ship running away too fast.
Okay, so they're
No,
not,
it literally was like.
It,
when
you know, it
back
would have
up.
sounded to you like they were coming in, but as you pull away, there's this sort of final shrieking, grinding noise, and then it stops, and there's nobody hammering on the back door.
So I have like 50,000 credits now, if I've done my maths right. If I had 200,000, 150,000 gone.
Okay, the 200 came from the job we just shafted it
Oh,
on
oh, cool.
because
Then,
you
yeah.
stole
Yeah.
some of their stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
rest of your
get on
money
the
that-
intercom.
I'll just put a 0 for my money. I don't know how
So
much I have.
we pan our camera out from the vindictive bitch as it pulls away, trailing a few little bits of shrapnel and space dock behind it as it pulls away from Knaeus Station and heads off out into space in the direction of Sobolir Prime. Inside, these two identical figures stop and look at each other. One of them says to the other, "It's loose." And the other one says, "Indeed." Send a ship to Sobolir. We can track them. Agreed. And the credits slam down.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for playing, guys. I appreciate it. I love the fact that you have absolutely no qualms whatsoever about poking fingers in things and, you know, sticking your face in stuff, licking the dangerous material, whatever. It's perfect. It's like nice.
Gotta thank Nye
I
for that
understand why people in Alien do stupid things now. It's because it's
Yeah.
fun.
All mad scientists are now. I have had the epiphany. I know why they do it, because this stuff looks cool until it's tearing your face off, of course.
So you fly away from the station. You've got a drilling crew, an archaeologist, his assistant, a small military group, and some mysterious cargo of theirs. You've got the weird little blue crystals in the lab and
I'm
these lizards,
so hiding that
including Macaroon, the spoilt lizard,
in the back
and
pocket.
one pissed off Marquess because she didn't get to do any clothes shopping whilst on Sobolir, on Knaeus. And what's the point of going to Knaeus if you can't buy clothes? Excellent job all round. We will be back next week. In the meantime, Lee, what's Diesel Shot doing next week?
What's Liesel Shot up to next week? Well,
No, don't call it that.
tomorrow we've got a Change Stars special involving the News Guy, indeed. So if you like fish food and
Or
want to
the
see how the
Nose
fish
Guy.
get made, you can see that in a proxy duel for mating rights tomorrow. And we are playing a mercenary group up against another mercenary group. There's going to be shooting and
To
there's going to be
determine
seafood.
who is going to fuck whom.
Yes,
Classic.
so
The
come
Nose
along.
Guy have very interesting mating rituals.
You might be
Which one was
involved with
for?
Pat if.
8:30 p.m. Eastern to midnight 30 is the usual for that. On Saturday, every other. So this one on, next one off. Monday, D&D. They have just entered the bottom of the dungeon where one of the party members used to be imprisoned, and it's going to be very intense. And it's the beginning of the dungeon, so you can come in, be there from the start. Coming out for it same time, it's 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30. That's D&D 5th edition. And Wednesdays, we of course have a Worlds Outnumbered game. Special guest coming out, Professor White, also known as Fangirl Review. Wonderful streamer. Catch her on her own channel
She
as
is,
well.
much like Millie, also nominated on the
The game hers, indeed.
Yeah.
7 to 9 p.m.
Game
Eastern
hers.
for that one. And then Thursday, as always, Uranium Fever, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, midnight 30. It is going to be great. Please come out, catch us, enjoy, have fun. And yeah, that's more or less the shtick. That's everything we're up to. We also do some dev streams.
Cool. Check out the speed on that delivery. Man knows his stuff.
Jeez.
In the meantime, on Garbler Games
I
next
know,
week,
that's why I let Lee do it.
we've got Mystery Mondays, because we don't know what's happening on them. On Tuesday, we've got some more Dodeca, because Pete should have shaken his chest infection by then. Wednesday, we're hoping to have another session of Once Upon a Time in the Old West. I skipped Tuesday, Garblag North America. What's happening on Garblag North America? It's not more wrestling tomorrow, is it? And it's not Masks of Nyarlathotep? Is it Delta Green?
Delta Green? Is it? I'm not sure.
I think the
It's
Delta
either on
Green is
Tuesday or
starting
Thursday.
Thursdays.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Thursday.
Hosted by Jeff, I believe, from the Lollygaggers, which is super cool.
Well, you'll have to come over to our Discord and find out what's happening on Garblag North America on Tuesday, if something is. Wednesday, Once Upon a Time in the Old West, will hopefully be back, pending fixing the technology problems that we were facing. Thursday, something entirely new is coming from Pete in light of recent issues and allegations that have been raised. We're going to hold off on our Pathfinder stream until we know more. And then next Friday, we're back once again for part 3 of Traveller RenSpace. In the meantime, you can catch up any bits that you missed on the YouTubes. You can join us on Discord to find out what's going on. We have a lovely little Patreon going on where you can come and see what's happening. And since we're coming up on sub renewal time, don't forget, Amazon Prime customers, you get a free Twitch subscription a month. Why not use it on us? And that's all from us. So we've been Garbler Games. Thank you for joining us on this week. We've also got another exciting special coming up imminently. I think it might be next Saturday. We've got an extended super stream possibly happening, but we'll hopefully have Millie give you some more of the lowdown on what that's going to be about. Don't forget to check us out on all of the various socials. If you're on YouTube, come over and watch us on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, come over and watch us on YouTube. You can check out the Random Ask Dev stream that I did the other day where I ran through how to plan an adventure and turned Veronique's shitposts into actual plot.
I need to learn how to stop shit posting because you use that shit.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us this evening, and good night.